Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to episode 173 of the Planet Destiny podcast. Yeah, we made it in! Jazz hands for everybody. Woo! We can do that here. 173 episodes in. If you're still watching, what are you doing with your life? Why? Why here? Why now? That's so weird. Well, I know why now tonight, because we have got a very, very special guest. Bit of a Warframe master, as I hear it.
Okay, is it me? I was like, I'm not sure. You could be talking about anybody. No, I'm just as surprised as you guys. Hi, what's up, you guys?
It is AGayGuyPlays. Welcome to the show.
Thank you. I'm so honored to be on. I was actually shocked and awed when I was invited. I was like, you know I'm not good at this game, right? Like Warframe, I could play with my hands tied behind my back. Destiny, anytime an Ascendant challenge comes up and we go through the portal, I'm like, I can't do it this week. No, Jesus save me.
Hop in the backpack.
I'm like looking around, I can't see the ground. Where are we?
Yeah, so that was actually my doing.
Yes, it was.
Yeah, so I've been following you for quite some time. You know, I play Warframe whenever I'm kind of like done with Destiny for a bit. And whenever there's something
it's funny, it's like vice versa, isn't it?
Yeah. So whenever there's something I need to catch up on, you're usually like the first place I go to. So I saw you playing Destiny 2 Forsaken, and I was like, oh, all right. Well, I want to know what he thinks about the game.
Oh, there's a lot of feelings out there, and I know a lot of the Destiny veteran population has spoken out as well.
Oh yeah.
Because I feel like there's a little back and forth that goes with Warframe and Destiny and whatnot. They both fill two very different spaces.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's one of the reasons why I wanted you on the show, because you're well aware, and you know everything Warframe related, and you know how the community interacts with one another. Destiny and the Warframe.
Yeah. I have stories about that.
Oh yeah, so I figured it'd be a good time to kind of bridge that gap and come together and talk.
Yeah, and it was actually one of the stories is a drunken story from me, so this probably is not going to paint me in the greatest light. But I figure let's just go ahead and start off with the bottom of the barrel.
Sure.
But I was actually a VIP guest at TennoCon this year. They had me stream for them, and we did some stuff on stage and whatnot. And the greatest thing was Bife was actually there at TennoCon. He was attending, and well, Rob's had maybe 3 or 4 drinks at the after party and whatnot. We get to chatting, and he is just the sweetest, nicest guy ever. He's sitting there. He's just like, you know what? I just don't understand why our communities can't come together. Like we're both gaming communities. We both have a love of the sci-fi stuff. We're all very entrenched in our lore, and we love our games. Yada yada yada. And it was just like he was just spewing all this love from his mouth, and in my head, I was like, no, we just can't get along. This is not how it's gonna be. Sorry, Destiny and Warframe are not a thing. And then I shut up and I started playing Destiny 2, specifically Forsaken, and I was like, oh yeah, I see what he's saying. Never doubt Bife. Never. Just the man's great. He's a great guy. And when I looked back at that moment, I was like, wow, I'm an asshole.
Yeah, again, it's always been one of those things, because again, I've been playing Warframe. Like Warframe was, I think, the first PS4 game that I ever played when I first got it. And I've always been back and forth, and I've always noticed that that bridge in the community where it's like Warframe's better than Destiny and vice versa. And I'm sitting there playing both games. I'm like, they're not even in the same gap.
Now, has anybody else here played Warframe 2, or is everybody pretty much just entrenched in the Destiny game? Oh, I like that, absolutely.
Oh, absolutely.
You love it?
I've been playing Warframe for years.
Yeah. I think the one thing about it is they're so different that it's kind of nice to have both.
Yeah.
Right?
Exactly.
And I think that's the one thing that, I can't speak for all of our communities, but I definitely know that there is some animosity in the Warframe community. I've seen I've seen a little bit on Destiny's end, but I'm not as entrenched in it as you guys are, so I don't know if it's like a if it's a rushing tidal wave there as well.
It always comes and goes, honestly. Like whenever either DE announces something new, then you hear the like on their side, it's like, oh, there's gonna be like the Destiny killer. Like for example, with Railjack, like that looks amazing, and this is so dope. And I remember just seeing a bunch of people say like, oh, they know that's the Destiny killer and whatnot.
How is okay? That's the thing in my head is like, how does that even relate to anything?
Yeah,
I'm like, Guns of Icarus better watch their asses because Railjack's coming for you. Yeah. Star Citizen, watch out.
Yeah, exactly.
But no, it's not necessarily like I always, as the second that I jumped into Destiny, I was like, why is there? You can't compare these two.
Yeah.
They're just into very different camps, and each one gives me something that I crave, but in a different way. And especially like, okay, so I played the raid for the very, very first time on, oh my god, what was yesterday? Listen, life of a internet person. You don't know what days are anything.
Saturday.
Saturday, but yeah, we took it on Saturday night. And we got up to Riven, and it was already like past midnight when we got up to Riven. And we had started late, by the way, so don't judge us. Don't judge us. We started late, and then we got to Riven. By the time we got to Riven, they were explaining the mechanics, and I was like, it's after midnight. You expect me to remember L1, I shoot this when he goes up. I can barely dodge the tentacle right now. Like, what do you expect? I'm like, so in my head, I was like, listen, we'll come back to this tomorrow.
Yeah.
And then when I jumped on my stream this morning, I was like, thank God I can just play Warframe. I can just put up, magic spears of fire and just run around. Disarm enemies with a little twirl. I'm like, I was like, oh, this is a happy, joyous moment right now. I don't have to sit here trying to memorize bird with wings down, bird branch, fire dragon, right? No, that's my left. And so it's like, what Anta, Penta, what am I supposed to say?
Yeah.
So it's like, I was just like, it was a nice break. And they just offer two very different things. So now, especially having that perspective, I'm just like, you guys y'all should be family. Y'all should just be. You had a hard day. You had a hard day in Destiny. Go ahead and jump into Warframe. Warframe making you feel like everything's a little too easy. You got to wait 2 hours for like some sort of challenge. Let's go and do a little bit of Destiny time.
Yeah, absolutely. And you actually made a really good video. And for the people that are in the Twitch. Right now watching the show live, here's a link for you guys if you guys want to save that and watch it later on. I watched that entire thing and I was like, oh, okay, I gotta see what it says. And a lot of the points that you nailed in that video, it's like you like nailed it, like just on the top. They're both very different entities and they all give you a certain thing that each one like doesn't have. And like Warframe does give you a lot more of that power fantasy, that like you can just kind of build the way you want it.
Let me tell you, when you've got somebody waiting for you down at the bottom of the Ascendant Challenge and you can't make it off of those spinny damn rocks and you're beating your head because every single time that one rock towards the end just spins at that right angle and you just split off.
Yeah.
You just like, listen, just give me a whip and let me spin around on the ground and kill things for like the next 2 hours. I'm cool. Like, I don't want to spend 40 minutes trying to make this damn jump. And the thing is, you can hear them in the background eating as they
just kind of wait.
They're tending to their dog. I'm like, well, I don't feel bad about myself at all.
So you jumped into Destiny on Forsaken, or did you play any of it prior?
I didn't, and if I'm gonna be completely, this is just I feel like transparency is the the best thing.
Yeah,
I talk so much shit about Destiny I'm telling you right now, I talked so much shit about Destiny, and then when Destiny 2 came out, I talked even more shit about Destiny.
Don't worry, so did we.
These people, like, honestly, definitely one of those big things for me was I saw the way that Bungie was treating its players, especially its very established players, the people that love it and had dedicated themselves to it, the veterans.
Yeah.
And you guys know that right now I'm having issues with veteranship in Warframe as well, because I'm a kind of player that likes to jump into something, devote a lot of time into it, really get to know it. And I felt kind of like when I saw it was twisted, but in a way when I started playing Destiny 2 and I started hearing about all of the Destiny veterans, it's like I found my group of people. I'm like, everything you said, I feel, but about Warframe. Yeah. I'm like, and that's when I was like, I just heard the word of Bife come down, and I was like, oh. I'm like, wow, he's really, I was like, I should have known better. I should have just listened to the man. But literally, I felt I did not feel any more connected to the Destiny world because I was new, so I didn't really know any of the lore. I was like, there's this really angry, glowing guy with a big shield, and then there's a cool warlock girl, and there's funny basically Deadpool but in mech form guy, and that's basically how like everything was broken down for me. Yeah. And I didn't connect as much until, towards when I got to the Forsaken campaign. But the community, I was like, oh, I feel your pain too. And I was like, shit, we're all one and the same. We're all one and the same.
Oh, yeah, no, trust me. For a good while, probably a year, the salt was flowing from our end as well. Oh,
y'all Warframe players were talking trash about Destiny. Secret is, so were we. So were we.
Salt Bay memes were flowing.
Oh, absolutely. It was a mine running.
I mean, because Destiny, the way we know this. The way Destiny 1 ended was just a super night and day of how Destiny 2 launched, and it was just like, what happened?
Because I'll be honest, I was gonna give Destiny, like, man. They just reel you in with those trailers. The Destiny 2 trailer dropped, and I was like, oh, you almost got me. I was like, all right, no, I'm holding firm. And then I got it confirmed that it was, not as good as the, Taken King, Destiny 1. And I was like, oh, dodged a bullet. Thank you.
Absolutely.
But when Forsaken launched, I was like, okay, let's give this a shot. Number one, we saw the trailer. And of course, here's the thing. I'm one of those people that will watch the trailers but won't actually play the game, but I'll get invested in the trailers without really knowing what's going on. I was like, oh, that guy was funny in the first one. He's dead! I was like, I gotta go check this out. And then so I went and played, like, after I got through the main campaign, I went and played Forsaken, and that... Number one, they did y'all wrong with the Warmind and Curse of Osiris. They did y'all so dirty. They did you guys so like, and the great thing was I had some Destiny vets in chat, and I was like, okay, because of the fact that I bought the legendary pack or whatever, right? And can I just say, they should have given you guys a discount for Forsaken if you had bought the other packs.
Yeah.
Because I sat there and I was like, okay, so what sliver of content is in Curse of Osiris? Okay, so what's that? And I was like, no, that's not worth the expansion pack. And I was like, okay, what was in Warmind? I was like, okay, tell me what you guys felt was like your value. Like, was it valuable to you? Because of course, I'm out of the loop and I don't really know. And I looked at the piece of content that they were able to get from it, and I was like, this wasn't worth it. But now we get to Forsaken, which actually is, at least I feel, very much worth it. And man, y'all could get like a discount, like $20 off, like something just for everybody who like put down their money. I kind of feel like it's kind of like that whole respect for the people who've been standing by you.
Yeah.
Paid the original prices, did everything the hard way the first time around, and that's kind of the same way that I felt, or I'm currently feeling about Warframe. Is like, you got to pay respect to the people who stood by you when things were shit.
Well, yeah. My retort to something like that would be like,
do you give people a discount based off hours played in that DLC, or just
Yeah.
because they bought it? Because you could have bought the Infinite Forest and Osiris and been like, this sucks, I'm never playing it again.
Yeah.
You're still going to give that community that discount because they bought it. So I have a ton of people who sunk tons of hours into this. I don't know how Bungie could pull something like that off. I'm fine paying for it. I actually think that Osiris was worth the price, but not a penny more. I think a lot of people forget the raid layer.
Not even a half a penny.
I honestly, the raid layer itself was worth the money to me. Forget the Infinite Forest and the Forge and all that. God, I still have like flashbacks of doing public events for hydronic floral patterns for my couch or whatever the frig the things where you had to collect for the Forge. But it's like,
oh, I still gotta collect those on PC.
I gotta because I spent a lot of time trashing the Osiris DLC. And I think I almost forgot myself that the raid layer came with it. So that was kind of worth it.
I felt like Osiris was gorgeous.
Oh, absolutely. Like the world.
It looked great.
Gorgeous.
Yeah.
But,
I mean that's one strength that Bungie has had continuously over the years.
Yeah, the art.
You know, their art, their art team is just unbelievable. And I mean, you know, like a lot of the times that we compare Curse of Osiris is we go back into the Destiny 1's equivalent, which was Dark Below. Yeah. And you know, if we're just looking at those two, Curse of Osiris did bring a little bit more than what Dark Below did back in the day. They're both the same price. But I mean, it just one of the things that really held back, you know, Curse of Osiris was just the plethora of like things that they reverted back to from the transition of D1 to D2. Because I mean, I don't know if you haven't had the chance to do the raid layer for the Curse of Osiris expansion, I would recommend it because it's really fun. It's a fun and
a very good raid layer.
That's probably like the most thing that's worth out of that DLC. But no, yeah, absolutely. Like I was pretty upset with both Curse of Osiris and Warmind. Warmind, especially from a lore perspective, and it still makes me mad. But Warmind was a little bit better in terms of investment.
That's what I was getting.
I liked it a lot, actually. I thought that was when they started to because after Osiris, I actually walked away from the game for 2 months. I mained Fortnite for 2 months because I was so fed up with it. Warmind is what brought me back from Fortnite to the point where I haven't even really played much Fortnite again since it came out. I was a fan. I was a big time fan. I guess because I'm a fusion rifle guy, and the sleeper came back though.
Funny, bringing back stuff from D1 gets players to start playing again.
When it's a good weapon, it's a good weapon.
I mean, they brought a new weapon, Whisper. Oh wait,
well, what is the scout rifle that they brought with it too?
The Polaris Lance.
That's
Polaris
it.
Lance,
Not a
that one's
terrible
great.
gun. Pretty good. I mean,
Really good. But again, that all boils down to terms of investment, and that's what made Warmind worth it. Like you had exotics to grind for and chase, and escalation protocol alone was
huge,
big. I mean, you got the community to figure out ways how to like not manipulate the network, but go around the boundaries to get teams of 9 people in one instance. You know, like you have something special when people are trying to get 9 people together to do that.
Finding alternative ways to play more of your game. That's a pretty good sign, actually. But,
that is the one beef that I have with Bungie, though, because it seems like it's a carryover from Destiny 1. This is just what I've heard, so this is the second thing. It's like it's hard to get people together. Like, we wanted to do well, and we didn't want to do a lot of well. We just wanted to grind out well one day. And we could not get into the same instance for the lives of us. Yeah. And we tried so hard, and we were, it was kind of like when everything kind of first launched, and we were like, okay, we gotta figure out a way to like get everybody like from the stream and to get other people in to come and play it. So we had like our fire team, and then people were entering and re-entering and all that kind of stuff. And it is a little bit of a pain, but I like the way that you put it, where people were going out of their way to find ways to join up and play your game.
Yeah, absolutely. And again, that's something that a lot of the Destiny community has had gripes with, is with when you have activities like Blind Well or Escalation Protocol, where they require like at least 6 people, when it first came out, at least with EP, like 9. Why not make it its own separate instance where you can take in a fire team of 6?
Well, I think they learned that with the dungeons this time around in Forsaken, though, right? Because you can bring This correct me if I'm wrong, but you
it's
can.
still, I mean, it's still a fire team of 3, but that's
Yeah.
I want
Mhm.
to say that's a different like beast compared to what Blind Well and Escalation Protocol are.
I feel like
Um,
Blind Well, 3-person, tier 2, tier 3, pretty possible with the right group. Escalation
Yeah.
It is
Protocol.
doable.
You
Yeah.
could have
dude, it's
given me
doable.
Slayer and Glad, and it was still going to be ridiculously, insanely.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I'm saying? Does that make
Yeah.
sense? The
Yeah,
Escalation
absolutely.
Protocol is a different level than Blind Well on multiple, even just
Yeah.
the length of time and engagement and the DPS of the bosses and the space that it occupied. Blind Well is pretty condensed.
Pretty self.
There's not a lot of
Mhm.
moving around
It
parts
is-
where you
yeah.
get so
It is a little bit more condensed, but we got to remember that Blind Well also has the tier 3 and the tier 4.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
those really escalate
tier 4 is kind of nuts.
in difficulty.
Blade
Um,
Barrage in tier 3 though. One Blade Barrage and one
Oh,
grenade.
Blade Barrage
Nice.
anyway.
Every game mode, right?
Yeah.
I think the greater point there is really though that at this point, you know, we're like what 4 years into Destiny, almost 5 years
Yeah.
into it. Why
Yeah.
can't we take a full fire team into these activities that are clearly meant for more than 3 people?
Yeah.
Mhm.
I mean, I don't know if they've addressed that. They might have talked about it with their engines. I know for something they spoke a bit about that story mission where you could, or that strike where you could get like 6 people in there.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah.
And they
Yeah,
talked
that
about
was
how
fun.
that could impact performance, but it was a ton of fun. But at this point, if they're going to have these types of activities like the Blind Well, like Escalation Protocol, where they're clearly meant for multiple Guardians, they just need to allow a full fire team. I don't understand why at this point
Yeah.
in the game we really can't take 6 people into a patrol zone like
Yeah.
we did in Vault of Glass back.
My
in
thing
V1.
is the the social space that it is has allowed me to run with randoms and other fire teams who just instance like literally at random with me. I
Mhm.
spent an entire Sunday getting the sleeper on PC, and I ran maybe 9 or 10 escalation protocols all the way to rank to what is it, level 7, level 6,
Mhm.
the final round.
Yeah, 7.
Just
Yeah.
off of random people coming in. I didn't message anybody. Nobody messaged me to
That
bring it.
is definitely one of the greatest things that I think Destiny has over Warframe. Because when it comes to Warframe, you're all in your own kind of instance.
Yeah.
And there have been so many times where I've just like ran into a public event or ran into a public blind well, and I'm just like, can they do it? Are they going to be able to do it? Will I be able to keep up with them? And we actually did a couple tier 4s in the blind well just on a group that I randomly joined.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it was just one of those moments where I'm kind of like, it is a great social aspect. I completely agree with being able to like jump into that because, you know, sometimes you got to get to know people in places when you have instant content, it can feel very isolating.
Yeah.
So it does
Yeah.
feel very like community wise, and it's always nice to like run into an heroic, and you're like, I'm just gonna stand here into this kind of like public event, and hopefully that somebody will join me.
Somebody pops
Will
up.
anybody join me today?
Yeah.
And then you see like 2 people rushing over, you're like, yes, and then they leave you, and you're like, damn it.
Yeah, I mean that's literally happened to me when Escalation Protocol was still kind of like the hot thing to do. I just remember sitting in Mars next. I remember just standing next to the pylon, and you know how you see at the bottom left corner where it says that somebody is near.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I remember seeing that, and as soon as like they come into instance, I activate the pylon only just to see them just kind of like come in their Sparrow and just go all the way down to the Braid Tech, and I'm like, oh well, shit.
Womp, womp, womp.
But yeah, I mean, that is a great social aspect of making the world feel alive in a sense in Destiny. But sometimes you just want to go in there with pals, man, and
Yeah.
you know, it's a little bit rough.
Oh, I get that. I always get that feeling whenever I'm kind of like, because we've got like a group of people that we run with. I'm like, okay, so who's sitting this one out?
Yeah,
It's
exactly.
like,
Got 4 people.
it's our turn. No, okay, you're gonna go get dinner. Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know, it's definitely just a weird issue that's going on there. There's absolutely value in the way the instances work in Destiny.
Mhm.
I really like
Yeah.
that I can still remember loading into the Cosmodrome for the first time on like the 3rd story mission in D1, where you first start to enter an open world. The first 2 missions are like within an instant space, so like you're the only person in there. But like the 3rd mission, you walk into the Cosmodrome, and then boom! I remember this kid loading in right next to me, just popping in, and I'm like, I wasn't expecting expecting anything like that. They just ran around doing patrols and shooting everything in sight. There is definitely something magical about that feeling of community with an open world space like that. My only argument is that I see somebody in chat saying that they balance a lot of these activities like blind well for a 3-man fire team, but you can still get more than 3 people in that instance. Why can't I just say, okay, well, there's like 6 other people here. Why don't we all just join one big team?
Yeah.
The tools
and you
are
can
already
have a
there.
little bit better like communication if you know like if there's something like, let's say we were doing tier 3, right? And we're doing really well, and then we could just say, you guys, you up for a 4? Are you up to do even just something that simple would always be nice in communication. You can, I guess, do it in local, but sometimes that might get lost a little bit depending on what chats people are in.
Yeah, absolutely.
Most of the time, the blueberries I'm with, they don't even give you the option. They just throw the tier 4 in. Here we go.
Like,
sure.
I hope you're ready. Buckle up, Buckaroo.
There's 6 of us. Let's do this, please. Nobody leave. Nobody leave.
Sitting there as a 540, like, oh no.
Oh,
here it comes.
What I always get is when we go in, we're like doing tier 2s and tier 3s, and then we've just cleared out tier 3, everything is good. Then somebody puts in the tier 1. Get out of here! Who even are you?
Shame.
I'm like, I'm bad, but even I know that I'm tier 1.
Oh, that's pretty great.
Yeah.
So you mentioned prior to the stream starting that you tried out Last Wish. What did you think?
I thought it was painfully invigorating. I think that's probably the best way that I could say it. I just remember there was one moment where we were doing, oh my god, was it Shirochi, the one with the puzzles?
Yes, Shirochi.
Okay. So when we were doing the puzzles, they were explaining the puzzles, and we're like, oh my god, this is going to be like a big freaking headache because we're going to have to yell at each other to communicate and do all of that kind of stuff. And so we get to the first puzzle room, and we died on it like maybe twice because we got booped by the by oh my god, those assholes.
Yeah.
So we would get booped, and then we had to start all over again, and then finally we got it, and then all of a sudden they're like, now go up. I'm like, we didn't discuss up. What is this up? And me, and they know that like I am historically the worst when it comes to platforming. And they're like, up. And I'm like, what do you mean? And then so they're like, up on the turning, like spinny, whatever the hell they're called. I call them the teacups.
Yeah.
The friggin' teacups. And I'm like, oh no, I have to get to the other spot. We have to kill this other person. And I'm going to die here because of a jumping puzzle. And so finally, like, I'm able to make it up, and I'm like, okay, I caught up. They're doing fine. We get to the next one, and I'm like, you can't just tell me randomly up. You need to give me the emotional. Let me build up the emotional fortitude that I need to get onto a jumping puzzle, because I'm in my brain like celebrating, puzzle's done, yes, puzzle's up. And then that moment just like had me in a panic. And of course, like when you're not good at something, you don't want to hold the rest of your team back.
Right.
And you just were like, okay, we've made it this far. And you're like, I can't just F this one up. So I'm like, please.
Honestly,
so we made it.
I'm that way when it comes to that puzzle part. Like the raid that I ran last night, that was the first time that I actually had to contribute to standing on the puzzle pieces. And I was like, oh no, I'm gonna fuck this up. Because normally in that part, I just clear ads. Like that's just, I'm a simple man. You point at an area where I need to shoot, and I'll shoot real good. Yeah. But the moment you tell me that, like, oh yeah, no, you have this grid that you have to stand on and look at the puzzle, and I'm like, okay, well shit, I'm sorry, this is gonna take a while. But yeah, no, I'm like, I feel you right there. Like,
It's funny how many different roles there's going to be for people to adjust to at this rate. I got my first 2 clears this week, same day actually.
Right on.
Nice.
So shout out to Clan Be Bold, Clan Redeem, and Last Rights. Thank you guys for the help. But it was because I ran 2 raids back to back with 2 different teams. And everything was different between the 2 teams. The callouts for Riven's Eyes were different. Where I contributed personally, whether it was the callouts for the orbs at Riven, or whether it was the puzzles, I had different roles with both groups. So it's really neat to see how the dynamics change. There's so much to to do. And there's people even in chat who are worried about running this raid and whether they'll be able to or not. And I just, if I can get through it, you can get through it too. I will say that the group you run with is going to be a massive part. But you don't have to have a role. You can literally be somebody who just clears ads the majority of the time, and you'll still be fine with it, which is kind of neat in a way, because there's been ones where like everyone has to do something. You go back to Oryx and it was like, who's going to be the one guy who clears ads this whole time? So who's going to jump on the platform in the wrong order and really screw the runner? Like we've all went through that before. So Last Wish is one where you can just be someone who clicks on enemies' heads.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, personally, like I'm one of the types of people that has a hard time breaking out of their comfort zone when it comes to raiding. Like when I raid, I normally have like my dedicated group of friends, and we have our own call outs. We have we have our own dedicated roles. So the moment that the moment where it comes that I really want to raid, but none of them are on, and I have to go into LFG, I'm like, oh shit! Like I'm gonna have to do stuff I'm not comfortable with, but at the same time, like it's good because I expose myself into learning how other people, run through the raid or how they do it, and you learn different ways to do it. But
no, I'm very much like you, because in Warframe raids, when we had our trials, sorry, we don't call them raids. But when we had our trials, legit, the group that I ran with, we ran them to the point where we could get them done in about, if it was over 25 minutes, I was upset. I was having an emotional breakdown. I was like, why are we taking so long? And the thing is, during the raid, we would never actually be talking about the raid. We would just kind of know everything that we do. The only time I think that we would ever say something is because I think there's an order to one of the pads. So they just be like 1, 2, 3, 4, whatever order they wanted to go in. And then we just be like, oh, we're just going to look for the extra chest. And then that's it. And then boom. And our raids would be done. And I do appreciate the whole part where you're kind of like looking and trying out different parts. But there was a Jordas quest where you had to kind of like fly out in space in Arcwing. And that's kind of like one of my big things. So Arcwing is kind of
cool.
Let me tell you right now, all I did during that raid is I was the ball handler. Because there were these spores, and you would have to knock these spores up against this creature in like a certain spot, and then that would give the people inside more time. I couldn't tell you what the inside of that thing looks like because I was just like, that was my favorite thing ever. That was like, this is my moment. I love Arcwing. I was like, I love it, and I was like, so I'm just zooming around, knocking it out, dodging enemies. I was like, this is the best ever. So to this day, and the sad thing is they've closed up the trial, so I'll never know what it looks like.
Oh wow, yeah, that's true.
Yeah,
I mean, I have a love-hate relationship with the Arcwing. I remember trying to unlock the nodes in, I want to say it was Eris, and the Kepler node in Eris.
Was it the Rush?
It was the Rush.
Yeah, Rush was one of those ones that made me. Actually, Rush is the closest thing that I've ever felt in Warframe to Destiny, because it was one of those things where you got good or it didn't happen for you.
Exactly. You
either had to really just do. And I thought I was a good Arcwing pilot. Nope. Nope. Not until that. And you know what I did though, and it's kind of like one of those. It's like a tested character. I got through it, but I wasn't happy with the score that I got.
Yeah.
So I was very much like, I'm supposed to be good with Arcwing? Nah, F this. I'm going back. I'm getting all 3 cargo ships. And and it was like, it was that kind of push that made me, realize when I got to Destiny, I was like, this, like, I will, at the beginning of every Ascendance challenge, I will cry. But I will see it to the very end. I will not let it go. I was like, I will do this. You might have to, go out and grab yourself some McDonald's, because it's going to be a little bit of a wait for me at the bottom.
We'll get there.
But you got extra tinctures? Good. You going to need them.
Oh my god, yeah. That was my experience with that Rush mission. I just remember oh my god, it's done. Because I remember, I think I just got like the minimal, like I think 1 cargo ship just to at least complete it. And after that, I was just like, all right, no, I'm going to take a break because I'm going to get upset. at this mission.
That's
But,
how I
yeah.
felt about The Last Wish. I was like, yes, we did it. We did it. Who knew? Especially the vault. Oh my god.
Oh my god! Yeah.
As soon as we got the vault done, I was just like, this is the last round. This can't be the last round. This is the last round. Oh my god, this is the last round.
Yeah, the vault can be very daunting for sure. Oro, what else? What did you think about the vault encounter?
That was the only one where my role was basically just to kill the knights off the plate. So I have to watch a couple of guides on it. I didn't have time this weekend and kind of get a feel for what exactly goes on with it. But
Yeah,
since everybody else cracked the actual secret code, it's just going to be learning another role.
Yeah.
I don't think it's going to be above anybody's pay grade. You just have to pay attention.
As long as you know your right from left, it's really, really hard.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, I don't. And I'm not even joking. I have a mole on my right hand. So what'll happen is by habit, if somebody says right, I go like this just to check, just to make sure it's the right. And you have to do call outs really, really fast.
Yeah.
So they're like, so I've got my hand on the keyboard because I'm trying to zoom in or whatnot. And they're like, what is it? Fire, right or left? I'm like, which one is it? Which one is it? And during one of the breaks, because we didn't get it the first time, clearly. One of my friends told the group, you're like, you do realize Rob does not know his right from his left, right? And I'm like, I can learn the call outs. I can. I swear. We can do this. And we did. And when we did, it was like a glorious moment. So, and that's what I like about Destiny is you have this level of difficulty, which sometimes can like grind your gears.
Yeah.
And you know where you suck.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's like, and when you're faced against the thing that you suck at, you know it's going to be a pain.
Yeah.
But so many of the players will push through.
Right.
And to me, that is a very big thing because there are cases where players will just cry about this is too hard, this is too hard, this is too hard.
Yeah.
And a part of me was like, player responsibility. Sometimes you just gotta knuckle down, get it done, and do your best to get better. And even if you know that you're weak, either train yourself or surround yourself with people that can make up for that, for where you're weak, and maybe you can make up for where they're weak. Yeah,
and I feel that deep down when I think back to the King's Fall raid, because goddamn that Oryx encounter, holy shit!
Know your shit.
Okay, what is this? This is the second time you guys have brought up the Oryx encounter. Is it bad?
A lot of fail states.
Yeah.
So
there's so many things that can go wrong.
It's a very mechanic heavy encounter. I mean,
Is it the most mechanic heavy encounter that Destiny's ever had?
Yeah, because that
and Valcoor, I think, are really close. Because Valcoor is like, you miss one thing, instant wipe. Yeah, and it's the same thing. It's the same thing. So I mean, one of the things that King's Fall, the Oryx encounter, is that you have 4 plates that you have to stand on a specific order. So Oryx tends to go either left or right. Hold on. I just want everybody to pay attention to our guest's face as this encounter gets explained. This is a wonderful social experiment. So let's all just enjoy the reactions we're going to get while Nim describes
Oryx. So you have 4 plates, and then Oryx at the beginning, huge boss, either is going to go to the left or right. So you have one dedicated runner. If Oryx goes to the right, the runner is going to follow Oryx. Oryx slams his fist on the plate, and then the runner and the first person on the plate both have to jump at the same time, allowing the runner to pick up a little orb. And then
the runner a little bit before the first plate.
Yes.
Yeah, the runner has to go on before to pick up a buff that allows him to get on these invisible plates. So then everybody has to go on the plates in a specific order as you go throughout this platforming.
Yeah.
This
counterclockwise.
Yeah, counterclockwise. So it's like platform up, go, platform 2, go, 3, go, as the runner is going up. And then as that's happening, the people that are standing on the plates need to shoot down these ogres, because every time you go through one plate,
Wait. Like ogres, like the
Like
ogres that
the
we have
ogres.
now.
Big
Yes.
titty
Oh
ogres.
bullshit!
so
They didn't
at
like
each
you.
corner-
They
no,
didn't like you.
no.
Nope.
At each corner,
It gets worse.
an ogre pops up.
There's so
Yeah,
much for this.
I'm
fight, dude.
already in pain.
It gets worse.
So much.
it gets worse.
So many things.
So as the runner's going through each plate, an ogre pops up that you have to kill. As soon as that's done,
Just one, right? Just one. It's
It's
like
at each
one
plate.
per-
on each
Four
corner.
plates.
So
Four
you,
ogres.
how many plates are you stepping on?
Four.
There's
There's
four.
four plates.
Okay, it's just four.
There's four, yeah. Because it's one on each side. So
Okay.
you got one on the front right.
But you
And
said
then
that they
front
had to
left.
jump up
Well, there,
to
yes,
different plates.
yes. Because if the people that are stepping on the plates on the bottom step on it in a wrong order, the runner that's going on the invisible platforms will just straight up fall through, and you will
Or the
mess.
order will be right, and he can't get to the end of the
Yeah.
jumping puzzle.
You can't get to the orb that you need to get to the very top, and you need to start the encounter all over again. But once
So
you get
how many friendships were ruined over this?
Hold on.
Oh.
This is not where the friendship was ruined.
Oh, this is just the testing moment.
This
This
is
is
the
just the
easy
testing
part.
phase. This
This
is I
is
got
the
a new
easiest part.
girlfriend, and y'all, you're
Yeah.
not hanging out with me anymore.
You then would have knights
Memories.
that would spawn that would just run across the map in order to eat whatever black goo the ogres left behind, which you needed in order to kill
damage to the
orcs
boss.
in the last phase. There was so much of that going on. The runner had to like take down another knight, a sword knight,
Oh, God.
in order to get a buff to bring back to everybody so that you were immune. It was a whole thing.
So yeah, so after the runner picks up the orb from the very top of the arena, you have to go down because a tomb ship comes in the middle of the encounter and drops in a knight that's invulnerable to everybody else. Only the
Mhm.
person that has the orb can take away his shield, and then everybody else can damage the knight. So at that point, everybody has to huddle in the middle because the guy that slammed on the knight has a protective aura around him, and that's going to prevent you from dying. At that point, everybody huddles in the middle, clears ads, and then Oryx does this mechanic where he starts like charging up, and he has a big vulnerable spot on his chest. At that point, everybody needs to shoot his chest to stun him. Once you get him to stun,
It's a DPS check.
it's a DPS check. Once you stun him, everybody needs to do like a countdown where 4 people that were standing on their respective plates.
Wait,
There's more.
there's a
Oh,
countdown.
There's a
Plus
countdown.
people.
So everybody then goes and stands in front of the bomb that their ogre dropped, and then everybody's like, "All right."
Wait, they dropped bombs
They
too.
drop bombs.
Huge step. You missed a huge step.
All right,
There's-
so 4 platforms, 4 ogres. After you kill an ogre, they drop a bomb.
Yeah.
Knights will spawn and run across the map to eat the bomb,
Eat
so
the
you
bomb.
can't use it to
Okay.
damage Oryx.
Oryx.
So someone is responsible for killing the ogre. Someone is responsible for killing knights that want to take the bombs. Somebody is responsible for the jumping puzzle, who has to take the shield away from the
Yes.
The
the
sword
immune
bearer.
knight. Who
Which,
then
by
we
the
have
way-
to kill the immune knight, knock Oryx back. Once he's knocked back, take out the bombs, go to the Shadow Realm, kill the friggin' shaded
There's
Oryx.
a
get back to
shadow
the
realm.
friggin'
There's a shadow realm.
They were like, listen. So we have these mechanics. Let's take all of them and put them into one mission, because you know what? We gonna have Destiny 2 anyway. We're just
Yeah.
gonna wipe all that away.
Before
Don't
you go
forget
to
all about
Shadow
all
Realm,
that.
though, remember to pop your 3 of coins to get that exotic.
There you go.
Wait, what?
So
You have to
I
kill
think
So
the most
here's-
friends were lost over not shooting knights. If I was
here's
to
the thing.
guess.
Yep.
Here's the thing. So each one of those damage cycles takes about like 25% of Oryx's total health. So at one point, everybody just figured out a strat that instead of just doing damage to Oryx at that point,
Mhm.
we can just stack the bombs. So we can just repeat the cycle and stack 4 bombs on top of one another to just immediately take
Wipe
out
out
Oryx's health. However, there is
Uh-huh.
always a run where always one person somehow missed their goddamn knight
My
And-
ogre got away.
and
Yeah.
and
I
ate
my
the bombs.
Or the
How
bombs
many?
didn't detonate.
All of them.
All of the bombs were gone, and this was probably a solid 20 to 30 minutes.
Who
in.
went early?
And so if that
Silence.
one person messes up, you have to start the entire encounter from the beginning because his enrage mechanic would kick in.
You know, this reminds me of a moment during the vault that we were doing last night, where we were doing call outs, right? And there was because they sent me the list of like the names of and pictures and whatnot and things that things are recorded to. However, as you guys know, my channel is called AGayGuyPlays.
Mhm.
It's because I couldn't find any more descriptive name that was any more literal than what that was. So I tend to describe things as literally as they are, especially when I'm in panic mode. And so all of a sudden I say, I'm looking at the picture and I'm like, I'm trying to like look over and gauge and I can't find it. I was like, Dragon Spear. They're like, oh, it's this one. I was like, to the right. And then they were like, I hope that was the right dragon with the spear, Rob. Because there's one dragon that's, and you know, the guy had already gone over and and I was like, yeah, that's the one. That's exactly the one. And you're just crossing your fingers that please don't let this fuck thing
Please don't blow up.
Let me not be that one guy that lets my knight eat the blob.
Oh yeah.
Oh, I
So-
kind of want to take Rob through this.
No, you don't. You don't.
We
Rob
also-
does
I
not
would
want to
totally
go
run.
through this.
We
I
forgot
would
to
totally
mention.
play Destiny 1 and run through King's Fall
Same.
Raid. 100%.
Oh, absolutely. And you know what? We forgot to mention there's a meteor phase in between damage phases on Oryx.
Yes!
So you get to run
Oh
in
my
circles and
God.
dodge meteors before you can actually do anything to them.
So you know, I'm feeling kind of good about this last wish raid. We're fine. We can get a prestige. We're cool.
The meteor phase was dependent on if you
Damage.
did damage
If
on
you
him
did,
though.
Yeah.
Right. If you didn't.
Yeah.
You could skip it if you went for all the bombs at once, which
Mhm.
ended
Yeah.
up being a challenge, right? But then they came
That
out
was
with
the
Yeah,
challenge
that was the
for that.
challenge mode for it.
Yeah, the challenge was the easiest way to do that encounter.
It
Yeah.
really was. Oh my
It was,
god.
yeah.
And see, this is the kind of moment because there's a lot of talk in Warframe right now about what makes a veteran, what is veteranship. And this whole conversation is kind of like one of those things for me where it's like you have these veteran stories that you guys sit down and you share and you're like, oh my God,
Oh,
that
yeah.
was such shit. That was a good time.
Next
That was a
round's
good
on
time.
me.
We should bring more people through this
That's right.
and
Oh,
put them through
absolutely.
the terrible horror that we were.
Kicking and screaming. And
Yeah.
I feel like that. Good job, everybody. You did a great job of explaining the Oryx encounter. Now
Now
let's talk about the Outbreak Prime.
Oh no! Let's not even go into that, please. That's an
I never
actual
got that
headache.
gun. I don't think I ever got it.
That
Imagine
involves
a hidden
binary.
quest that requires binary code,
Mhm.
What?
math, all
Yeah.
of the math.
I'm passing. Whatever this is, whatever the reward is, it's not good enough. Unless it's coming to my home and cleaning out my bathroom, I'm not worried about it.
I feel like
And-
the wishes are worse, man. Imagine trying to figure out the wishes. Well, I guess they're sporadically throughout the world
Throughout
itself.
the world
but
space.
Yeah.
What were you gonna
Outbreak
say,
Prime is
Dan?
Ridiculous.
If you got Outbreak Prime and then you took it into Kingsfall Raid and you're like, I am going to murder Oryx with this, he would glitch and Kool-Aid Man through the entrance of the arena,
Yeah.
and you,
Oh
wouldn't,
yeah.
you wouldn't be able to kill him. It was awesome. It was
That's
terrifying.
hilarious. I actually never did that.
Oh, Joel did that to me several times.
I'm not
Sounds
surprised.
Not surprised at all.
I'm not
Sounds
surprised.
about right.
There's a lot of nonsense in Destiny.
All right.
That's the greatest. I think that's the great part, though. It's because like with the raid group that we've kind of got going on right now. You know, we're not all professional raiders. We're not all like we're not Destiny experts or anything. But you kind of slowly start learning everybody's habits.
Yeah.
And you kind of slowly start learning some of the bullshittery that goes on with all of them. And
Yeah.
it's sometimes it's those little moments where in the midst of the raid you want to do nothing but throttle them. But at the same time, like when you look back at it, you're like, that wasn't so bad. That was
I
pretty
definitely don't use swords to push other people off ledges.
I believe you.
Oh, we have a running joke. Oh my god, one of my friends, he hates it because I'll bring swords into random missions where we really should not be bringing swords. He's like, if you're gonna get serious about this, you can't be bringing a sword everywhere. I was like, but they're so cool looking. And then so finally we started doing, I think it was the first week that the raid came out and we knew we were not going to be able to do it.
Mhm.
So we did the whole, we kind of like jumped around. He's like, you might want to bring a sword so you can see yourself through. I was like, a sword, you say? A sword? I'll happily bring a sword, sir.
That's pretty great.
Yeah, so it's kind of like, you know, you slowly start building up these running jokes with the people that you hang with, and it's nice.
Yeah. Yeah, I always have somebody that always tends to go AFK.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's like Mike, please. We're in the
I
middle of
had
the
a-
vault.
I used to do like raids in Destiny 1, like it helped Sherpa people with raids, and I once had a kid leave for like 20 minutes because his mom told him to take a shower. That was wonderful. Or another kid left because of an intense Scrabble game.
What?
Intense Scrabble game.
An intense Scrabble game.
Mm-hmm.
See,
Was
that's
there
what I
violence
don't-
involved? I mean, like, how intense?
I don't know. We kicked him immediately after.
That's why I do not envy the Sherpas of the
Mm-mm.
Destiny community.
Mm-mm.
No, sir.
I'm the Derpa of the Destiny community. That's the role that I fill in the community that we've formed around it.
Oh man. All right. Should we get into some of the upcoming conversations that are happening in the world of Destiny?
Why, certainly.
Alrighty. First off and foremost, who has encountered the meatball?
You.
I've tried to encounter the meatball.
Literally only you, Nim. You know,
Literally.
you knew when you asked the question.
I played Gambit immediately after the event took place that he became a boss in Gambit.
Yeah.
And I think I've told the story before. I was derping around for the daily bounty, so I was playing Gambit with like a sword and a sidearm, and I don't know what my kinetic weapon was. Didn't matter, but I was just not involved in the game whatsoever. I was there to get my loot and leave, and wouldn't you know it, this dude spawned as the boss, and I was like, "That's really cool. I guess there's a new boss in Gambit. I'll catch him later." And I've never seen him again. And if you're out there, I was your teammate. I am so sorry. Because I had no idea that was going to be a very special one-off kind of thing.
Yeah.
So, needless to say, we didn't win the game, nor did I do any damage whatsoever to anybody in it. With a sword, a sidearm, and God knows what, maybe an SMG in the kinetic spot. So yeah, that's my bad.
Oh my god.
If you're out there, Guardians, I'm sorry.
Pour one out.
Yeah.
So yeah, the Ascendant Primeval servitor is going to be seeing some changes to Gambit in an upcoming update. I want to say that's the 16th,
I do
if I'm not
believe so.
mistaken.
Soon, very soon.
Very soon.
30th?
We've got 2 updates coming. One drops on the
Yeah.
16th, one drops on the
And so the Ascendant boss will now have pretty much a 50-50% chance in spawning for those who are after the Malfeasance quest, if you guys haven't had it already. But the 50-50 is only going to occur when the curse is at max. So basically at the end of the cycle. So on every third week of the cycle. Other than that, he will have still like a relatively low chance of spawning during non-full curse weeks. But there are a couple of things that are changing with that as well. So if you're going after the Playing for Keeps badge for Gambit for the title, after you kill your first meatball, he will drop specific rewards, or he used to, or that's being changed.
Yeah.
So
Guaranteed.
the way it worked before is when you killed him the second time, you got the Sparrow, and when you killed him a third time, you got the ship. Now that's going to be changing. Those are now going to become a rare drop. Yeah. So for those of you that are going to be farming, the boss now with a 50% chance, that's what you're going to have to like look for him a little bit more now if you guys are going for that title. In terms of Sleeper, gotta love that Sleeper. Sleeper is having its ammo moved around a little bit. Instead of you got 4?
4. You
got
used
4
to get
shots.
4.
You used to get
At
4
ammo
shots. That is just silly, dude.
Enough for the whole team.
Enough for the whole team. They're setting it up. Now that's going to be down to 2 shots. So get that. Start hoarding those armor that have the heavy ammo finder, because
that gives you like 5, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Because now
I don't
you're
think it's
not
going
going
to
to be
slow
dependent
much
on that.
down.
No.
You're just going to, like, if you get a brick to drop in the wild, then you go pull heavy, you're going to have enough for an entire team wipe.
Yeah.
Again, I'm hoping that they do implement the aim assist adjustment sooner rather than later for sleeper, because it's needed.
It's a little easy right now.
It's I mean, it's also super easy if you have a queen breaker, but
I was gonna say that's what I've been hearing a lot of, and I got one.
oh, you have
Randomly in the world, it just popped up. I was like, oh look, there's a yellow thing, and then I picked it up during stream, and they're like, oh my god, Rob! I'm like, it's fantastic, I guess.
yeah, it is. That's probably what I ran the most over sleeper. Honestly, if you want to contest a sleeper simulant and you have a queen breaker, use that combat scope and erase them super easily. Swords are getting an ammo buff in Gambit as well from 12
Aura
time.
He is so not happy. Look at him. He's so mad.
It's such a strange weapon, especially when you're coming from where they were in Destiny 1 when you had 3 exotics that filled very specific roles. I don't want to get into a weapons discussion, but right now, bows and swords are probably at the worst spot they could possibly be for anything at all Destiny related.
Yeah, that's fair.
Sword and Gambit puts you at such a risk to be used. Like you're going to get team shot by ads unless there's only one thing there.
Yeah.
I just don't think it's worth the gamble.
Honestly, the only reason why I ever used the sword in Gambit was for the triumph. That's it. But other than that, swords, they really don't have a place in a lot of the activities other than just kind of like fucking out.
They're definitely more of a for fun thing. The kind of swings on them tend to put you in weird spots sometimes, and it's just
the hit detection.
It doesn't feel
on the other side of them for your next it goes off into Narnia because the hit registration and tracking is so strange.
Yeah, that's one of the definitely one of the my big gripes about it, especially coming from Warframe. We have a pretty good melee. We have a good melee.
Oh yeah, it's a great
your
melee.
bows are really good in Warframe too. By the way, the bows are wonderful there.
And then all of a sudden, I come here. I was like, oh, I got a sword, so cool. And I'm like, bloop bloop bloop. I'm like, I'm a little bunny.
Yeah,
that's exactly how it feels. Like bloop 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 bloop. I was like, you know what? I like you. We're keeping you around.
And that's certainly weird considering where swords were in Destiny 1. Swords were one of the top weapon classes in D1.
Yeah.
As a matter of fact, the weapon that put out the most amount of damage per hit in Destiny 1 is a sword, Dark Drinker. It absolutely destroyed everything in sight.
Yeah.
And it's a little weird to see them drop as far as they have in Destiny 2. I still argue...
One of the most... Oh, go ahead, I'm sorry.
I was just going to say, I still argue that an ammo buff is good coming for Gambit. I think swords need way more ammo in PvE. You got a little bit of an ammo buff in Forsaken, but like coming from Destiny 1, we had 101. You have 101 for your sword, and like suddenly we're just sitting at like the 40s for Forsaken, and that doesn't feel great.
That's at its peak that you can carry.
Absolutely.
And I think in Gambit you're sitting at like 12. Like
you're
20.
You're not even, because it's 6 right now. It's about to be 12.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's rough with the swords. And I mean, as far as utility wise too, we also had the artifacts in D1 that allowed you to reflect stuff with the swords as well.
I had a blast in Crucible with that.
Oh, I got some clips with that. So, Rob, I don't know if you're familiar, but in Destiny 1, towards the end of its life cycle, they introduced these artifacts that each one kind of had like a different effect. You know, one there was, believe it or not, one completely took away your sprint cooldown, which was silly. Another one, one of my favorite ones is that when you meleeed like an enemy, there was a chance that you like took that enemy and he fought for you for like 30 seconds. It was really
that's really cool.
Yeah. One of my favorite ones is, along with Aura, is an artifact that allowed swords, when you block, you could reflect any incoming projectiles. So
it's kind of like the what do you call this? The Arc Strider's whirling staff.
Yeah, it was like that, but you know, basically you could use it whenever you wanted.
Yeah. Nova bombs, rockets,
anything.
Oh, shut up!
It was wild.
You're like,
and no one thought it was coming.
Anything, we mean everything.
Everything. Yeah. Like I have clips of me deflecting a rocket back at one guy, and the rocket kills him, and then this other poor Titan decides to hit me with hammers, and I'm just reflecting the hammers like right back at him, and then I just smack him with the sword and walk away. But it was so fun.
Now I wonder how that would work versus a Titan's the new missile, the new electric missile.
Oh my god, that would be
Bounce them all.
Smash face.
right off.
Aura, thoughts?
Such a dopey super, like it's so good. It really is, but you're just face planting. Like all you're doing is.
I looked at it and I was like, I don't like. How is that gonna work?
Yeah, it's silly for sure.
It's
But
surprisingly
Is it good
fun.
though?
No, it's actually really heavy hitting damage.
Oh, it's
Okay.
sick. Yeah.
yeah,
Okay.
it's
Probably
really good.
second to Blade Barrage, right?
I think
Probably.
so. Yeah, I think so.
Whoa!
Is it really?
Shut up! Like that much damage.
Yeah.
Okay,
Holy shit.
I'm gonna have to
That-
check it out. I didn't realize it would do that much damage in a single chunk.
And its surface, its area of effect is pretty damn massive too.
It's like
pretty
D1
generous.
Fist of Havoc, isn't
Yeah,
it?
it's pretty
Mhm.
Right,
generous.
it's pretty big.
Yeah. And I mean, besides any excuse that like you can give me to just like say my people need me and just like fly away. Is fantastic.
Just throw it, grab the hammer,
Yeah,
and take off.
it's so great.
Oh.
Although I will tell you, as somebody who's so used to using shoulder charge as a maneuver option, just fisting the ground every time and just losing like 10 motes in a Gambit match is so infuriating.
If you couple that with Skull, is it Insurmountable Skull
Insurmountable
Fort?
Sword.
Yeah.
You'll be able to smash everything the entire way around that. It was
It's
actually really
great.
fun.
It's
Yeah.
Yeah,
really
it's pretty
fun.
great in Gambit.
Yeah, it's really fun. But yeah, so back to Gambit. We're gonna be seeing some of those changes coming up soon. Hopefully we'll get that sleeper fixed.
Mhm. Yeah,
I
those
think
will
it's-
be on the 30th.
Yeah.
It's really interesting to have one of the things that I'm really liking about Destiny is how they tie things into other things, like the appearance of the new Primeval, but more often on that third week. I was
Right.
like, oh, y'all are thinking.
yeah.
That's a
Yeah.
good one.
Mm-hmm.
No, it's really cool. I mean, again, and a lot of this is even new to us, like the whole end game destination thing with the Dreaming
Mhm.
City. Like, that's an entirely new concept for us, and it's great because
I'm-
beforehand it was just
I'm glad that they did it because I think that one of the things that I heard, so I'm not exactly sure, this might just be word of mouth, but a lot of people were telling me that this is kind of like Bungie's love letter to their vets.
Oh,
And
absolutely.
especially, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And seeing some of the things that they're doing really impresses me because everything kind of ties into everything. Like I went in week 1 and I was like, oh, okay, cool. There's going to be, a raid that comes up soon. Then all of a sudden the raid drops and they're like, the world changes. And
yeah.
I'm like, I zone in and I'm like, where's bitch PV? Where are you at now? Where'd you go? I'm like, oh, you're here. Okay, cool. And then so
Yeah.
for me, I'm like, oh, the raid changed everything. There's a new strike. Okay, great. And then so I log in the third week and I'm like, turn around, hey Pete, wait. I was like, wait, what's going on?
Yeah.
Something's changing again? And then so I was like, so we heard about the whole third week rotation thing, right?
Yeah.
And then so week one comes back around and I'm like, okay, so back to week 1. Cool. I'll go back to see her. And then the second I talked to her, she's got new voice lines. She's
Yes.
like, we know something's going on. And I was like, wait a second. There's even more new stuff that's happening just around every single corner. It's
Yeah.
like they really paid attention to certain things that are going on in the world and making these people cognizant of the fact that these things are happening
Yeah.
is just
Mhm.
another touch and another callback to say they know it's Groundhog's Day.
Yeah. And again, that's something that's new to us as well. So we went in there, it's like, holy shit, like this is amazing. Because prior, like with Destiny 1, it's like finish campaign, wait for the raid to release, and just
That's it.
grind strikes and Crucible, and that's it.
Mm-hmm.
But now we have a
Blew me
dedicated
away.
yeah, we have a
That blew
dedicated
me away.
it's so
for
good.
real.
Yeah, they did really, really well with that.
Well, we're used to Bungie kind of recycling content.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like finding ways to
Mhm.
make things you've already done more interesting. And this was like all right, we're going to recycle some content here on a 3-week basis, and now the AI is going to play a part of it. It's actually a part of the story.
Yeah.
We're stuck in a never-ending loop until this curse is broken.
Yeah.
And at which point I would only assume that we could break the curse. I would assume a month, maybe a few weeks before the new DLC drops.
Black
sometime
Armory.
around
Yeah.
then, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I hope that they take all of this gas, because I'm sure that this got them gassed up. Everybody,
Absolutely.
Yeah.
they better take this gas and do right by it rather than just say, okay, we can coast now. No,
Yeah.
use this and make sure that the next one is just as good as this, because legitimately, when I saw the little bits that, you guys were getting for, your DLC, I was like, okay, whatever.
Yeah.
But as soon as Forsaken came down, and like when I played, like Forsaken felt so much more rich than Warmind, and at least maybe not necessarily content wise, because I'm sure that you guys have your own opinions about which one was the best or whatnot.
Yeah.
But really, this one just felt more rich, more fleshed out, more thought out, and it made me give a damn about characters that I did not. I'm sorry, Akora, I didn't give a crap about you for the first whole time. Like, I thought for a second you might have been banging Osiris. I'm like, that makes you interesting. I'm like, good for you.
Might
Right?
actually be canon.
Yeah, I might right?
Might actually be canon.
And then so now when it came around with this expansion, I was like, wow, I actually I get defensive when people talk shit about Akora. I was like, don't you dare, don't you dare. And so they better keep this going on with the next one too, because it's so good.
Yeah.
And you just want them to just be better and better and better, or be just as good.
They definitely up the game on every quarter of the game, not just like in lore or PvP or PvE or raids. Like, every inch of it feels more interconnected than it ever did before. For me personally, and I've been playing this game for what is this? The start of year 5?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It makes me feel happy though, because I can see that they did you guys right.
Yeah.
They did right by you guys, and you could hear the community really get behind it. And I'm like, and I'm sure that, of course, there's going to be issues. There's going to be things that people don't are not 100% went on. But for the most part, I think everybody can say that Forsaken was a very good DLC.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's see, what else we got here?
We got the update calendar coming up.
So when am I going to get Masterwork course? What's happening?
They're actually too expensive to talk about right now.
Yeah.
It actually costs a Masterwork core in order
That's
to
going to
talk
cost
about
me
them.
like about 300 legendary shards. So
Yeah. But yeah, they're talking about the updates. They have 2 planned updates coming up here in October. Here on the 16th, tentatively, this could all go away in a whisper. Bungie, I don't feel so good. Destiny 2 update 2.0.4 added the ability to hover over lost sectors to see their name once a player has looted them.
I don't know why that wasn't a thing, but all right, let's move
Right.
on.
Yeah. Players can now track up to 3 pursuits. Another thing that should have been a thing, but I'm glad it's going to be a thing. Added through Fire and Flood, Zenobia D, and Crooked Fang 4FR to the World Legendary Pool, because Edge Transit is just everywhere.
But what about my Edge Transit?
You're still going to get plenty of those. Don't worry about it.
No, I need 20 million of them.
This is where it's time for exotic swords to become a part of it.
Yeah.
This is where they would fill a void.
Yeah. Increasing scout rifle damage in PvE and against non-player enemies in Gambit.
Thank God.
Yes,
About time,
please.
yeah.
Scouts are worthless right now.
Yeah, I was gonna say I would get a scout rifle and I'd just be like, I feel insulted.
Yeah.
Hang on to them or keep them at least at bay in the collections, because
I think I got a transfiguration
from the raid.
Masterwork one, so
wonderful.
I'm keeping that one.
Oh, you got the
That one for
curated
sure.
one?
Yeah, I got the curated one.
Nice. I have like a basic bitch one, but it hits like it has pretty good impact right now, but I'm gonna hold on to that thing.
I'm gonna be honest with you, I care about nothing except for getting my hands on another hand cannon. Nation of Beasts?
Yeah. Nature.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I'm a hand cannon fanatic. I love my hand cannons.
You need to trust. You need to play Gambit and get a
Yes.
I have a trust.
Rust is
Ooh.
good.
I love my trust, and it's got outlaw and something else on it. It was actually pretty good. Kill
Nice.
Clip Outlaw, something like that.
That's a good roll.
Yeah.
That's
a good roll.
Add, like,
Yeah.
Add like a minor breaker on that so you
Minor
can clear
spec.
mods. Yeah, yeah.
Minor
It's,
spec.
or,
Yeah.
Oh, it's so good.
love my
They fixed an issue where Prime Ingrams were going straight to the postmaster at the end of Crucible matches. They will now show alongside their other end of match rewards. They added transmat effects to collections under the flare category. They've identified a very rare issue where Gambit Invasion Portal will not reactivate once it's used. They're currently developing a fix that's slated for the 16th as well.
So I've had that happen several times.
I don't notice it if it's ever happened to me.
It happens during the primeval phase. The portal will just not open, and it's happened several times, and it's frustrating because you can't do anything about it. You see the team melting away, and you're pretty much screwed. It's incredibly rare when it happens, and word on the inside, it was really hard for them to figure out what was causing that bug. So I'm kind of glad that we have that fix coming soon, because oh boy, yeah, imagine that happening when you got a meatball.
I'm sure it did to plenty of people.
Yeah. No,
Aura. Anyways,
that's what happened. That's what it was.
They're developing a fix for an issue where 1,000 Voices goes by its name and actually causes a loud screeching noise when
Have you
You
fired.
guys heard that?
Have you guys heard that?
It's actually kind of terrifying when it happens.
No.
Look it up. You know what? I will look it up for you.
He's
He's just gonna play it on the stream.
I've experienced it. It's not nice. It's not fun.
Honestly, I'm not gonna lie though. If they would just tune it down just a little bit and just kind of keep it in there so it can live up to the 1,000 voices name.
Does anybody have one? Anybody get one yet?
No. Here's what's frustrating. So I've raided, like, I want to say at least like 4 to 5 times now, and I've raided most of the time with my personal friends, my clan, and Kitty. And 2 of the people that don't play as much got their 1,000 voices. One of them got them in their first run. And I was just sitting there like, don't be salty. Don't be salty.
It was their first exotic that they've gotten in Forsaken.
It
Just
was
let
not.
them have
I can assure you that. I can assure you that it was not. But yeah, I'm still chasing after that thing.
I don't have another.
I still haven't rated. That's on the slate for this week.
Really?
So.
You gotta
No, and I've stayed pretty much blind too. Like I haven't seen any of the
What?
encounters. Yeah, dude.
That is
Let me
impressive.
spoil everything
Have
for you.
fun.
What happens first is
Let's talk about it afterward. Anyways, Destiny Update 2.0.5 coming October 30th. These changes are currently in development. Could change, could be impacted by delays, or cut if issues are found. Rebalancing functionality of distribution dynamo perks requiring players to be near opponents for super energy benefits. Slightly increasing sword damage in PvE to address player feedback. Slightly increasing fusion rifle damage in PvE.
Thank God.
Yeah.
Telesto is already so weak. I mean, such a weak weapon.
I mean, exotic.
Speaking of exotics, increasing viability of malfeasance in PvE and Gambit activities.
Thank God. I mean, it's not horrible, but it does need some rework on
needs some juice.
on that. Yeah.
Adjusting visibility of the Titan's banner shield. Adjusting exotic rewards to help reduce the number of duplicate drops. Chance for Nightfall unique rewards to drop will increase each time a Nightfall is completed without a unique drop. Adding Masterwork cores as a reward for specific spider-wanted bounties. Go ahead, Nim. What was that?
I still haven't had a single specific Nightfall exclusive drop since they were introduced.
Ouch.
Me neither.
Jeez.
Yeah, Mr. Second Run DFA.
Hey, hold it.
Well, look, I'm getting it. I'm getting mine back. Okay, I'm getting it back for all the time that I spent not having to grind out for the DFA. So, reducing the time for single shader deletion from your inventory, and developing a fix for issues where a team will defeat the Ascendant Primeval Servitor, but the opposing team receives credit for the kill.
Great.
What?
Great
What?
glitch.
What?
That's a thing?
That's a thing.
Yep.
I like how they end it with that.
Thanks for the malfeasance,
Oh,
suckers.
by the way, maybe they've stopped reading by now and they won't see this.
Yeah, that has to be the reason why
What?
Aura's team lost the last time.
That was it.
Oh
That
my
was-
That
God.
they actually
That is
won.
insane. Oh man.
All right, I think that's it for the patch notes, and
Yeah.
Mhm.
really just kind of leaves two big topics of discussion when it comes to future content in Destiny 2. One being the return of Festival of the Lost starting on October 16th. Yay! That's actually way closer than what I thought it was going to be.
The
And-
prettiest. Yeah, this is the prettiest event that
Ooh,
exists in
definitely
Destiny.
pretty.
So
Well,
what happens? You just get lost?
Yes.
Well, it has
So, in
another
previous-
name within the Destiny
Yeah.
community.
Wait, what?
Oh,
So,
dear.
Of
Festival of the
Cost.
Cost.
Oh,
I forgot about that.
It has a lot to do with Eververse and microtransactions.
Yeah.
Oh,
Mhm.
I see.
So-
I see. Okay.
Yeah, a lot of the previous iterations of this, a lot of the cosmetic stuff was pretty much exclusively tied to Eververse. Shit, dude, I remember when this first was a thing in Destiny 1, I dumped a solid like $100 in Eververse because
It's your fault. It's your
No.
fault, Nim.
Mm-mm.
Everything that's happened since then with Eververse is your fault.
You're enabling them.
Specifically you.
It was that $100 that
Um,
funded them for
Mhm.
years on end.
That was it.
You have more than that in Silver Dust now. It's gonna be fine.
yeah, I do, but that's why the only time they got me to buy something in D2 was when they put the whisper ornaments as soon as like you get the whisper of the worm. But anyways, in D1, like they tied like these cool looking Halloween masks that were themed after bosses and characters.
That was
and
200 power level, right? And that
Yeah, you couldn't even infuse them.
Yeah,
Didn't
yeah.
infuse them.
What?
It
Yeah,
wasn't,
you couldn't
it
even-
wasn't a helmet, it was a mask you could wear.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you had no helmet at all, essentially.
But you also had challenges that you could do with them. Like you had to wear certain masks to beat certain bosses in order to get stuff.
Oh my god,
Oh,
falling
that's
off
right,
the tower
that's true.
wearing the Athean mask.
Athean.
That was
Mhm.
the best. Right, there've been
I
a
don't
bunch
know.
of different iterations of Festival
Whatever
of the
could
Lost
that
now.
have been related to?
Certainly not a cheese within the first raid of Destiny.
Is it a
Certainly
cheese or an exploit? I don't want to get into that.
not.
It's a strategy.
But like,
The mechanics that exists within the game. If you
That's right.
choose to use it, then you
Yeah.
use it. If they haven't patched it out, then technically
it's not a bug, it's a
it's
feature.
them silently agreeing.
They would have had to do the same thing for the Templar too, though, because I threw that one off the map way more often than I threw
Mhm.
Atheon off the map.
It was
Oh
easy.
yeah.
It spooked him, and he just went off of his own accord. It was an easy way to finish
Oh
that raid.
I'm leaving. It's
I'm
like,
out.
all right.
You guys look big and strong.
So
Nades were real spooky.
So what they're referencing to here is the very first raid in D1, one of the bosses that it's one of the literally the first bosses that you fight. If you had a team of warlocks, their super back then was called Radiance, so it allowed you to it basically gave your abilities a super cooldown.
Yeah.
So you can just spam grenades or spam melee attacks. The solar grenade affected the Templar boss in a way that it would push him back. So all of the warlocks would immediately pop their super and just chuck solar grenades at the
Yeah.
boss, and he would slowly just move across the edge and then
Dude,
just
Homer
fall to his
Simpson in the
doom.
bush.
And then
spawned at the edge of a cliff, basically.
Yeah.
They didn't do any help with the spawn point.
Is
of the
that
boss, but-
okay? Is that just a current? Is that just a recurring solar bug? Because that's definitely something that I ran into in the vaults. I don't know if you use the 1,000 cuts or the blade barrage on one of the knights.
Oh,
I've literally watched the knight
Yeah.
go flying, but somehow still leave his sword in the
Yep.
plates.
Mhm.
And I'm like, but he's gone. You should have taken the sword with you. And then so I just watched him go bloop, and I was like, I don't know, I killed my guy. He's somewhere. He's gone. He's long gone. And they're like, no, it still went off. We got the thing that I was like, I can't do. Listen, ulti gone. I don't know what to do. I can't beat up the sword. Sorry.
So
That is insane. I have never seen that.
Yeah,
that
it
could definitely
happens.
happen. And
It's
Wow.
I actually swapped over into Arc Strider just because it's something that happens so often that I was like, I can't clear the night. I can't clear the night like 100%, like knowing for sure 100% of the time if he gets launched into the air.
yeah,
And we lost out like twice because of that. And I'm like, I can't have them look at me like that. I know that they're looking at me in the background saying, this fucker, he didn't kill the knight. He didn't ulti the knight. He's a liar.
That's some
crazy.
weird issue with the physics engine with D2.
No, it's just solar. It's just solar grenades, solar everything,
Yeah,
solar issues.
With Vault of Glass, that was it was the way enemies were coded. Their AI was programmed. If there was any sort of AoE, they were just programmed to run away from it. In vanilla D1. So you could exploit a lot of bosses by just throwing down anything that had an AoE, and they'd get spooked and just back away,
Like,
even if it meant backing off a cliff to where they would die. And that's how
Fire
you beat
bad.
the final boss of the raid in like the first month. You
just surround him with like patches of AoE. Nowhere for you to
literally
go.
leave him
Back
with
that
them.
way.
He doesn't
Yeah.
like him. He gets spooked, just walks off the cliff. Boom, raid rewards.
You win.
It's
That's
beautiful.
great.
It's beautiful.
And you know what? Finally, as someone who's really bad at parkour, it's nice to know that it's not just me.
Not just you. No.
You just picture the boss getting that end screen where they fall and they hit that red screen, and you're like, you two, you and me feel the same
Killed by
way.
the
I'm glad. But killed by the architect.
Speaking of
Misfortune.
parkour, I would love to see Rob go through the dick wall in King's Fall.
Oh.
We need to run this raid with him. We need to run this raid
What
with
is
him.
this? What is this? Is this my new Saturday night?
Don't explain it.
Don't explain it at
and don't
all.
watch it. You're going in
Rob.
blind.
I have nothing on my schedule. What? I'm eager.
You're going in
All right.
blind.
All right. I don't know how much it is right now on PlayStation or wherever, but we need to do this.
You literally just want to torture me, and it's because you want to bring me on that Oryx raid, isn't it? You're like, we're gonna tempt him in with a dick wall, but really we're gonna swap it out with an Oryx raid. This is rude. This is rude. Shame on you.
Well, you
I
have
promise-
dicks, and then you have sisters, and then you have Oryx.
I
So
promise you a dick wall, and there's gonna be a dick
There's
wall.
gonna be a dip. That's all we can promise.
You are terrible. You
No
guys are
help
making
either
me suffer.
navigating it. We're just gonna stay at the
Nope.
beginning and watch.
Oh, the dicks help you
Mhm.
navigate. They send you exactly where you need to go.
That
Oh my
sounds a
God.
lot like most Saturday nights, doesn't it? Yes. Okay. That's the way.
Oh my god, no! It's such a fun part, but yeah, that would be great to go through.
I think you would feel like it's great, but experiencing it with me, I can tell you, any of the people in my raid group where they know there's parkour, they'll just sit down, and I'm like, I'll see you in 20.
I'm waiting for the moment
It's
during
gonna
the
be a
sisters
long
encounter.
time on that dick wall. I'm telling you right now.
Oh my
It'd
God.
be a wonderful moment during the sisters encounter. You walk into that room. All right, who's taken? Rob is. You know what that means, then? The entire sister encounter is parkour.
Oh,
And
no.
you don't get to choose who gets
And it's
taken. The game
random.
randomly picks somebody from the fire team, and you just have to know
Oh
how
my
to do
god.
things.
See, this is what I loved about the team. They're like, all right, who's the runner? Anyone but Rob. Okay, cool, thank you. You know me so well. I can barely tell my right from my left, and you're telling me I'm gonna be a runner? Good luck with that.
Oh my god,
Good stuff.
super good.
The
Oh,
Festival of the
man.
Lost coming in like a week or so.
Yeah.
Should
That
be
branched
good.
out.
Mystery.
Yeah. Hopefully it's a fun event. You guys got any hopes for it? We didn't even take the time to explain what you do. It's different like
No.
every time it comes up. It usually
Yeah, we
revolves
don't even know
around
how
you
it's gonna be this time
going
around.
trick or treating
They said-
with
So
NPCs.
there's gonna be like a murder mystery.
Right.
This time around.
It's gonna be a murder mystery in the
So-
tower.
The rumor is it's around the Malfi quest, since there's there was supposedly a golden gun
Mhm.
shot that left the body singed on
Singed
Yeah.
the wall.
a rock or
Who
whatnot.
done it?
So
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
If-
we know who that was though.
If they brought Cyrell into the game, like I don't know if you guys have read any of the lore, but in the Ghost Stories lore tabs, they talk about a character named Cyrell who was rezzed And he's like, I didn't ask for this. So he goes around killing ghosts in the wild and attaching them to a chain that he drags behind him.
That's spooky.
It's metal as fuck.
That is terrifying.
What is he doing?
I'm gonna say the Destiny lore is like nothing that I've ever seen. Legitimately, I can just kind of like leave it on in the background, and I'll just randomly catch things. I'm like, who did what? What is happening there? And you know what? The thing about it is too. I love the fact, especially because like I love hunters. Hunters have just always kind of been my thing. Everybody kind of has their own thing, and it was great because I was in a group and I was talking to somebody, and I was like, you know what sucks? Sucks that Zavala represents you. I was like, it sucks that's who your main Titan man is.
Oh my god.
And I was like, because Cade was fun, Akora I grew to love. And I was like, I don't know if I could play my Titan. And then they're like, no. Saint 16?
Saint 14.
Saint 14. And then there was like I think I got a draw. Oh, was it Zur just recently had his helm?
Yes.
And they're like, no, let me tell you this story. And I was like, well. I was like, all right. I was like, it's cool because you have all of this like history with all of these characters that I absolutely love, including some guy who drags dead souls around.
Tyrell, the most metal character in Destiny 2.
The Guardian version of the Hangman. Sheesh.
I want a metal album around this guy.
That is I've never heard of that one before. What lore tab is he under?
Who you guys should have like a Destiny Halloween lore night.
That'd be cool.
That'd be cool.
Get by
I think it's one of the early ones. I think it's like the 4th or 5th one, Nim.
Okay, I'll have to look it up because that sounds interesting.
Yeah.
In the little Vidoc that we saw, there was like a little altar with a holographic image of. It looked like the Cryptarch that was in the Reef, but it was very brief that it was shown. So this is just entire speculation on my part. But it looks like Master Ives.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But we're gonna have to wait and see how they're gonna handle Festival of the Lost this year. Hopefully, if they do bring masks, we can infuse them. Also, if they can bring back the flaming skull mask, so I can just live my Ghost Rider like fantasy in Destiny, that'd be fantastic, please.
I saw somebody on Reddit ask for a flat helmet that you could add different ornaments to, rather than having all the different masks be separate.
Sense, yeah.
Because that way it doesn't take up all your inventory space.
Inventory slots like it used to. Yeah.
Or any more raisins? Can we get some more raisins? Was that
Rocks
Festival
and
Lost? I forget.
Yeah,
Rocks and Chat wants to send it celery.
Yep.
That was a thing, wasn't it?
These are D1 references.
Yeah.
I'm just sitting here. I was like,
Raisins.
and this is how you know. This is how you know you've had history with the game. I was like, celery, raisins.
Yeah,
It sounds like a school lunch.
Yep. 3 lost.
Kind of actually.
I don't even remember. How did we end up getting the raisins in our inventory in the first place?
I thought they were random.
It was Eris, right?
Gave them to you rather than giving you candy.
And,
Right.
And
Wait, no, they're literal raisins?
Yeah,
Right, yeah.
Raisins.
It was a box
pack
of
of
raisins in your inventory.
and
Like
you
that.
didn't-
unmade. Like actual.
Nobody
store-bought.
knew. Yeah, nobody
Had no
knew
purpose.
what the hell they were. They had no purpose. It just sat there in your
Yeah.
inventory. And then
the
a
next
year
year you got
later,
celery.
the next Festival of the Lost comes around, and all of a sudden, that box of raisins turned into Ascendant raisins. And then you turned it back into Eris, and she gave you like a specific shader.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought
Only if
you
you
gave
held
it to
on
her
to
and she
it.
gave you the celery. I was like,
The celery
wow, this is just
year's-
like
is D2's version of that. I want to say.
But you only got that if you held on to that box of raisins.
Yeah.
you know what though? That is such a cool, ridiculous thing because I'll be honest with you, I'm the kind of person who held on to his new player armor, put it in my vault, and was like, I'm gonna keep this forever. So those raisins would have been mine.
Hey, that's a smart thing because a lot of people in Destiny 1 kept their very first weapon in their vaults
Right.
throughout the
Mhm.
year.
Mhm.
And then at the very last year, they brought that weapon back as an exotic. And if you had your original drop, you could dismantle it to
That
start
is
that quest line.
so
Yeah.
cool.
That was cool. That was
See,
really cool.
man,
Yeah.
some good shit.
Yeah, it's really cool stuff.
So I got a question. Do you really think that with everything that we've seen with the Forsaken, and this is for anybody,
Mhm.
do you think that Bungie would, in my opinion, take 2 steps back by making it something like Festival of the Cost again? Because I think the
No.
backlash would be huge.
Yeah, no.
Yeah.
They've done real well with their events, especially with the Crimson Days. That's where they really started gravitating more towards a play the game to get the rewards kind of a
Mhm.
thing. And what was the last event that we had that was like that as well? It was
Moments
after
of
Crimson
the
Days.
Moments of Triumph was the
Yeah,
last real event.
Yeah,
Yes,
Moments
the-
of Triumph. Yeah, I think they've found a good formula for stuff like that, and
Mhm.
I'd
hopefully
agree.
Okay,
they
so
don't
I
go
have
back to
a quick question. I know this is going to be off
Okay.
topic, and I've been off topic pretty much all night, so I'm
That's
sorry.
fine. That was cool.
But I like so you've seen a change with the way that they handle their events. Clearly, there was a change with the way that they handled Forsaken. Do you feel like there was one specific point in time where they were like, "Oh, we really need to turn this around"? And exactly what do you think that point was? Because legitimately, I went from talking the most trash about them to like like really finding their content very interesting and enthralling. And the question is, what was that switch?
Last
Shortly
September.
after launch.
Mhm.
Yeah,
a month
couple
after they
months-
launched it.
Yeah, like a month or two after launch, everybody in the community, the content creators, the streamers, they were jumping ship.
Mm-hmm.
That
Mhm.
was like the biggest thing.
Message
I
was
feel like
pretty clear.
Osiris was already done at that point.
It was.
Yeah.
But a lot of people go back to the summit where
Mhm.
Bungie invited a bunch of content creators out to discuss not only their concerns but also their community's concerns.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So it wasn't just the voice of one streamer or one YouTuber, it was the voice of all their comment sections or their
Yeah.
chat as well. A lot of people from our community say that they feel like that was one of the moments, but for me, I felt very strongly about when people bought their season pass for all of year one,
Mhm.
that almost instantaneously people were like, I'm not buying the season pass for year two, and that money and that financial backing for the game itself was going to dry up if Bungie didn't find a way to,
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it's considering how Destiny 2 launched, selling that season pass for
Mhm.
Forsaken must have been incredibly rough for them, because it's like, all right, you gotta pay $40 for Forsaken, and here's an extra 30 for the rest of the annual pass.
Yeah.
Like that must have been like such a, like, I don't know, hard decision internally, because I mean, their track record between D1 and D2 is identical. Like
Yeah.
they had the same exact
Time is repeating itself. It's the Dreaming City all over again.
it literally is. Like everything just reverted back to the same cycle, and it clearly didn't work out. You
Yeah.
know, so
Well,
it's a hard
there was
sell.
so much going for D2. Like they had talked about, we're going to integrate the story more in, because one of the big things with D1 is the story was kind of scattershot all over the place, and that
There was
has
no
It was
story.
Right.
non-existent until Taken King.
Yeah, and it's because they had to kind of pull from different pots
Yeah.
immediately before the release of the game. And there's like a long, like Jason Schreier from Kotaku has a book where he talks about that. But they had so much going in that was good, that were good changes initially, but it wasn't enough. They were too forgiving with their loot system.
Yeah.
And everybody had everything by like a month in, for
Yeah.
the most part.
I mean, you could that was one of the stark differences. Oh, go ahead, Rob.
Oh no, I just had a recording issue, so I'm starting
Oh.
a new recording, and I pointed.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah, that was one of the stark differences, Rob, with D2
Yeah.
and D1 is just that in D1, like we're just going to talk about like the vanilla states in comparison here. In D1, once you hit like level 29, that's when you kind of hit that end game goal, and the only avenues of really getting exotics was either do your nightfall or do the raid. That was it. Like maybe you got super incredibly lucky in the Crucible, you would see like a Gjallarhorn drop here and there. But
then get mad at your friend for having that drop for him.
Yeah, but other than maybe Xur, those were the only avenues of getting that. And then we had D2, where you could literally just run heroic public events over and over again, and every like few of them would give you an exotic.
Yeah.
Like it made getting that yellow piece of gear so trivial.
Yeah.
It didn't really matter anymore, which is why we see now in Forsaken, it's incredibly rare to get like something Neo. So when like that yellow engram drops, the thirst for that thing, is unreal. But
you're like, I see that yellow Ingram drop over there in the blind well. Yes, the poison is gonna eat me alive. Yes, there's a chieftain over there, but you know what? Grab that before it goes away.
Exactly, and it was crazy, man.
For me, it was the weapon system.
Yeah.
I there is nothing more frustrating than being in a strike and having to rely on your scout rifle and your hand cannon to take down a boss, which is adding 5 to 10 minutes to the fight for no valid reason other than the fact that I don't even know. I don't even know what the reason behind it was. So that the biggest stark difference to me was, and we're sci-fi space ninjas. We're supposed to be the most ultimate, most powerful beings in the world and in the universe, for that matter. And here we are with a sidearm and a hand cannon trying to take down. So for me, the biggest difference was the weapon system and the ability cooldowns, all that kind of stuff. They really, really, really pulled everything back, almost for maybe paying a little bit too much attention to Overwatch, trying to mimic a true competitive scene, and the PvE side suffered dramatically because of it. So that if you compare the two back to back, that was one of the biggest issues that I had with it.
You know what? Here's probably a hot take in terms of that. But
get ready, folks.
I don't think a competitive scene can exist in a game where you have such a massive PvE side of things.
I agree 100%.
Because if you try to balance things out, specifically with like competitiveness in mind, you're gonna fuck over the PvE side of things, and we've seen this happen so many times in Destiny. And I know people love the Crucible and they love their trials of Osiris or of the Nine, and they love their comp stuff, but like I don't know, it's almost like Fortnite's shift from PvE to mainly PvP. You know what I mean? Like they focused on one and they perfected
there's a PvE side.
There is.
There used to be
two different games.
It
like
used
Destiny
to be
comp versus Destiny the game in order for it to be a thing.
Yeah, and then Fortnite killed itself by going into Battle Royale and killed off its PvE side of things.
Never heard about it again.
And I think honestly that's the case with Destiny. I mean, you have this huge story aspect and PvE aspect of it, and like I don't know, there has to be more emphasis on one than another, because then that shift is just.
Do you think Gambit becomes that though?
Gambit
competitive mode within this PvE heavy game
definitely has a possibility of doing so, but the big outliers there is going to be the Sleeper, the Queenbreaker, and anything like that. Because if you have, if they were to take Gambit into a competitive side of things, then I can imagine them just completely nulling out exotics. Just run like legendary like rocket launchers or sniper rifles or like Tarantula, Manowar, and stuff like that. But like things like Queenbreaker and Sleeper in a competitive environment, I don't know. That's just really powerful. Even if you fuck around with the aim assist or the how much power ammo you get, it's just really hard to balance that out and make it sweaty.
Gambit's a massive success, whereas what's the new comp game mode?
Breakthrough.
Horrific, awful, terrible.
Got some
I
problems.
actually haven't played that one yet. I have not played that one
Do
yet.
yourself a favor.
Don't.
It's like Salvage in Destiny 1, another reference where playing the objective really isn't all that smart.
Mhm.
You're
Yeah.
almost at a better advantage if you don't play the objective and just go and farm kills. It's a flawed. Did it go to Crucible Labs? I haven't even looked at Crucible Labs in forever, but did it go there first or
No, they released it as a standalone playlist
Yeah.
a week before it went into comp.
Yeah.
And I played one match of it, and last week I was like, it's really easy to roll people in it. Like,
Yeah, it really is.
It was Rock says it was in labs, but I don't know, the map size I talked about last week. The map size is just too small for most things. I've been playing Rumble a lot lately, and seeing those maps pop up is actually kind of fun in a Rumble kind of standpoint. But I can't I can't.
Yeah,
I haven't run into it in a 6v6.
When you focus in on like an objective mode, and for example the 9 map, like that map
is it's
incredibly just like laney with like, if you have the higher ground, then it's an easier,
you win.
Yeah, it's an easier one for you.
Fish in a barrel.
Yeah. Then, luckily that's why I don't really give a lot of shit about the Crucible. I'm a Gambit guy for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But like, yeah, I definitely see where you're coming from though, Nem. Like, where it to maintain a healthy community, you can't just ignore one side of it.
Yeah.
Altogether.
Yeah.
And that's where I think Gambit works the best. It brings a little bit of both in, and anybody can feel like a rock star.
Yeah.
You don't have to play to necessarily to a weakness. If you're not comfortable with something, you can go in and be like, I'm really good at burning bosses. Boom, I'm in it. Or I'm really good at maintaining a controlling a zone.
Yeah.
And taking out bad guys in it.
Yeah.
Awesome. I can kill people really good with a fusion rifle. Awesome. Cool. You go in. Like, everybody can have the role. Everybody can feel like a rock star. Everybody can have that power fantasy. And at the end, it feels much more rewarding to me, except for outside of Crucible.
Yeah.
Yeah. And also it's nice too because of the fact that all friend groups, like I was saying earlier, friend groups tend to some of them tend to be better at other things. So it's kind of like as you go in as a group, you never feel like, oh, I'm going to be the weak link. It's kind of like, I mean, let's be real. We at whenever an Ascended challenge happens, I know where I'm weak at. And I'm like, oh, but when it comes to killing things, I'm like, give me the one where I kill everyone. Please.
Yeah.
That's where I would feel happiest. So it's kind of like when you get into things like Gambit, it's kind of like everybody can kind of savor their role. If you got a guy who loves PvP, get in the portal. Go. I'll get some votes. Go.
Yeah, absolutely. Man, I love Gambit.
Same.
God,
same.
Gambit, dude.
But yeah, we I think we have one more thing on the docket, right? Outside of questions.
Just the raid, I do believe. The fact that we're not getting a prestige mode or really any sort of different difficulty mode for the Last Wish raid. They talk about that really quickly within the TWAB and give some of their explanations for it. They wanted to focus on making the Dreaming City itself a really large, encompassing in-game world space. They wanted to focus more on the experience of the Dreaming City with the 3-day cycle. The dungeon that they put in, the Shattered Throne, I don't know, Rob, if you had a chance to go through that.
I have.
That was insane. We have never had anything like that in Destiny before, so imagine everybody's shock as suddenly, on the week of the full curse, what's this extra mission? Oh, that's what this extra mission is. They wanted to
590. Oh, okay.
Yeah, the strongest enemies in the game. Whoops. But they wanted to focus more on building that world space, the definitive experience within the Last Wish, rather than just making different arbitrary difficulty modes. I know certainly one person who's probably mad about that. He's probably typing about it in chat right now, Mr.
He already
Rock.
did.
Yeah, it's already there.
Rock.
It was in there before you even started talking about it.
Good lord. That dude's all about raiding and like doing the hardest difficulties on absolutely everything. Me personally, it doesn't really bother me. Like, and I haven't really heard that much outrage from the community about it either. To be perfectly honest.
Well, there's already a lot going on with it. What are you going to do to make it more difficult, other than making people have to use a SMG, a sidearm, and
don't do that
a shot? Like you know, so if the option was going to be predetermined loadouts for a prestige version, keep that out. Let us play and do our strats the way we want, so we can be effective, get in and get out. And from what I understand, this might not be true, so please correct me if I'm wrong, but the dungeons are supposed to change.
What?
Did they evolve? I heard. I feel like someone, like the grapevine was that the dungeons themselves are going to be different. Not that they're going to be every 3 weeks there was going to be something about it that was changing. Now that was through the grapevine. That's through the community. So God knows if that's actually true. But
we'll have to wait and see when the first is full. I mean, I haven't heard anything about that myself personally. But I don't know.
The other thing about dungeons is it's easier to get 2 of your friends together than it is to get 5 other people to do a raid.
Absolutely.
You know? And the majority of people who don't even get an opportunity to raid, can't finish a raid for whatever reason, this is still a chance for them to do a really challenging in-game activity that maybe they have a better shot at completing. I'm fine with it. 100% fine with it.
Yeah, that's kind of what happened with us today. Is like we were doing the raid last night, then a couple people couldn't make it today, so we couldn't finish off Riven. So it's like one of those things where it's like, all right, well, you know, if we had a group of 3, we could just do the dungeon, you know, and not feel bad about not, you know, complete.
Yeah, because you still get like
rewarded
raid tier like rewards, which is great.
It does, yeah. So, you know, personally, it doesn't really bother me that we're not getting a different difficulty mode. I hadn't even done any prestige raids in D2 at all because they just weren't worth it. And when they made the change with curated loadouts, miss me with that. I wasn't about nonsense. And
I did one like that.
Yeah,
I did a few.
It's not fun.
Nope.
I don't like having my loadout locked to what, you know, the game tells me I can use. Oh, this week you get to use let's see, sidearm, submachine gun, and a grenade launcher. Good luck.
No, the question is, would they provide those for you, or would you?
No,
bring your own.
you had to have them.
Whatever was in your specific loot pool that you already earned.
There are some things I just delete.
Man,
I'm like, I don't like it. I'm like, I guess I'm going with just a sidearm. That's all I got for you. Sorry.
I feel like if they had cranked up the level and just said, hey, like, this is kind of going to work like the Nightfall, and you're going to be locked into whatever you brought.
Whatever you choose.
Yeah.
That would, like, that's more tactical. Than saying, "Oh, hey, yeah, you got to use a sidearm."
I just don't
or a sword.
Yeah, seriously. I mean, can we talk about real quick though on how the raid rewards have just kind of become a little bit, and I'm sorry to use the word, but kind of blah?
I got the bow.
Yeah.
And it is the hottest piece of garbage
I've
ever had. And if it,
which bow?
Sounds bad. I don't know. It might as well be called hot ass. It should just be called hot ass because it's a fucking a pile of hot shit. It's
I'm so glad I'm not the only one who thinks that. I got the bow when I was running the raid with Nim the other day, and I was like, okay, awesome, Tyranny of Heaven. It's got this awesome name. It's fully masterworked. And then I take it out, and it's like, this is a terrible bow. This is actually awful.
I haven't looked this up at all, but what's going on with it?
It's weak.
It's
a very weak weapon.
Did they put in something to like give it a trade-off or something? Is there a reason?
No, like it's not even
so
like
weak?
It's very weak, and it doesn't even load quickly. Like you would think if it wasn't going to have high impact, you'd be able to ready it up and get the shot off quickly.
Yeah.
It is basically the same arm time as any other bow that's out there. This is on a hunter too. It's a piece of trash, and bows are in a really strange place.
Yeah.
They're a weird weapon for Destiny. So I expect them to evolve, but I ended up walking out with a Transfiguration, which is also a piece of garbage, and the bow, which is also garbage. Well, apparently the hand cannon's really good. There's the 1,000 voices, which is unfucking believable.
It's
very loud.
Yeah.
And what else? Like,
so in terms, so to expand in what I meant a little bit with the raid drops is that we went from such an awesome like raid armor, both in like visuals and perks. The weapons were great. Praetorian Foil, Fatebringer, Vision of Confluence, Corrective Measure, all of those weapons are memorable and they were great in D1. And, then came Crota, of course, with the Crota weapons. Some of them weren't that great, like the Word of Crota. Nobody really ever used the Word of Crota.
Right.
Then you had Black Hammer, and like, I don't know. I feel like the both weapon wise and armor wise, the desire to chase them in Destiny 2 has gone down.
Yeah.
Even
it's not special.
It's not special, and like the raid shaders.
Got Redrix's, so it's like,
I mean,
that's going to be PvP.
Even raid shaders. Like if I remember in Destiny 1, like when hard mode Crota came. Yeah, when hard mode Crota came out and you completed it and you got that glow who shader, which Rob, it was like a shader that turned any type of like the cloth material, for example, for a hunter, it would make your cloak glow bright as blue.
Like you just got back from a rave.
See, that's legitimately the stuff that you go into raids for. I don't care about the weapon. I'm just trying to look good. I will murder whoever I need to murder in order to get my hands on that stuff.
So when the hard mode of Crota came out, and you loaded up into the tower wearing this glowy blue shader, like
everybody
it felt
knew.
Good. Everybody knew, and
everybody knew.
Yeah.
But like. Feeling. But like now, like you don't have any of that. And when they started introducing the ornaments for the armor, like that changed them pretty drastically.
Yeah.
And now it's like there's none of that in the raids for D2, and that's one of the reasons why I just never really found like the need to raid in Destiny 2 compared to Destiny 1, because I think the only thing what I'm chasing for right now is just 1,000 voices, and after I get that, I'm probably like, all right, well, later, Last Wish, you were great.
It's such an interesting discussion, because that's one of the things that's kind of like going down on the Warframe end too, is there is nothing in the prestige end when it comes to either being a veteran or earning prestige, right? Yeah. There's nothing, you basically, everybody has access. It's kind of like communism. Oh my god, it's like everybody has everything, we're all equal, or is that a different unism? I don't know what it is, but it's like you
got your isms right, and that
was got everything the same, and I'm like, you know what, that's kind of, it's a really, really interesting take where you're like, I want to do these prestige missions so that I can go ahead and get really cool looking shaders, really cool looking armors, even maybe just cool looking ornaments. Yeah. Because let me tell you right now, I never burned so many things for Bright Dust until I saw that trust ornament. Yeah. I was like, done. And then I got Crimson. Then after I got Crimson, the Crimson ornament went up, and I also got my masterwork thing for the Crimson too. I was like, it's like the universe telling me that I need all of them. And my ass moved really, really fast. And if I knew that kind of stuff was like in raids, I would be more than happy, because it's like one of those things where you're like carrying it, you're wearing it, and it's like this what do you call this? Stake to armor. It's like you've staked your claim. You're like, yeah, I did the raid. I whooped its butt, and now I got a shader for it.
Exactly. And go ahead, Dan.
When I was a solo player, like that was how I knew who to hit up in the tower.
Exactly. And
so maybe it's a bad idea.
And even
maybe.
Even then, I feel like, don't get me wrong, I think the armor that Leviathan gives you is pretty good looking, and the prestige one, it has the glowy bits on it, but I feel like a lot of the raid armor from Destiny 1 was so incredibly cool looking. And it was incredibly unique, and later on, again, when they added the ornaments to it, like it just showed that you went through that, and you grinded your way through that. But honestly, I think, and this I told you, TBL, the closest thing that I've ever felt that in D2 was just now when I got the Dredgen title.
Yep. Yeah.
Mhm.
That is the closest that I have felt. I can walk around the tower with the Great Hunt set and nobody gives a shit. Everybody's just walking by me. But the moment that I got the Dredgen title, there's people in the tower that like go up to me and they start emoting. And I was actually running a strike the other day, and in Chad, one of the guys was like, "Oh shit, you got the Dredgen title! Congratulations! Like you're literally the first person I've seen with a title."
Mhm.
And that was cool because like it shows your, I guess, your achievement and your progression on that. And that's as far as I felt that in D2 is just with the title.
And it's those little things, right? It's those
Yeah.
little things that really make your even it's you spend 5-6 hours working on something, whether it's a raid or whether it's grinding something out, and then somebody comes up to you and you're like, "Oh shit, you managed to get that," and you're like, worth the 6 hours.
Yes, I did.
Yeah, it was. I'll take it.
You also in the old raids you used to have the ability to earn weapons that would do damage against certain enemy types,
Mhm.
and that I think I miss that sorely from Destiny 2.
Yeah.
I like if we had more things, even if it was just mods. If they just dropped a mod at the end of an encounter,
There are mods for Last Wish.
okay.
They're called
The
Taken
mods,
Ordnance. Yeah.
Okay.
I got a mod that is called Taken Ordnance, that when I bust a shield on a Taken, it instantly refills my my grenade.
Yeah.
See, I'm cool with that.
That's cool.
Like,
But see,
you can apply that to any weapon.
it's on armor.
It's on
Yeah.
armor.
On
Yeah,
armor.
it's an armor.
It's on armor. But see, that those are the things that like it's so weird that they separated that from already coming with it with the gear, because like in D1 that already came pre like determined on your gauntlets. Like if you got a raid gauntlet, it increased your melee damage against Hive or Vex or whatever, but now that's non-existent really.
Yeah.
And that's super frustrating.
You almost wonder if some of that, where they're afraid to hold things like this behind the raid because so few people, such a small percentage, get to actually experience it. But like whether it's raid specific perks is one thing, but you go back to the weapons that would drop, and I go back to this because I didn't give a shit what my Guardian looked like.
Yeah.
But it's like I really didn't. I have the most ugly Guardians in all of Destiny 2. If the perks worked for me, I wore whatever it was on, whatever I could put on my character. But you go back to the Fatebringer and the Vision of Confluence and the weapon drop off that happened once you got to Kingsfall, where borderline like Cocoon is a wonderful perk, but
Yeah,
one weapon from there was like I gotta have this gun. Then Wrath of the Machine was kind of the same way, and even with Callus, it's like when I'm walking out of this raid and I'm putting this time and effort into putting a group together and beating our face against the wall for the gauntlet, and it's like I'm gonna walk out with Sins of the Past and the Midnight Coup, about the only two guns that. I mean, the shotgun was alright too, but even you go into the raid layers itself, and what are we walking away with that is worth it? And is Bungie afraid to put something behind that is a single instance? Versus, I go back to the Luna and I go back to the Redrix, which is a quest line, and while it might be pretty difficult to obtain, you still can. You know exactly what you got to do to get it.
Yeah. So again, with what he was saying there, Rob, if we take an overall look at some of the raid drops, for the first three, the raid Leviathan and the two raid layers that followed, the weapon pool was split in between all three raid layers, but each one kind of had their own individual armor, and I'm using that very loosely.
Individual.
Yeah.
Right.
Leviathan had its own armor set, and then Eater of Worlds had another armor set, and then Spire of Stars had another armor set, but it's nearly identical to the Eater of Worlds one. Like they're almost basically the same thing. As opposed to in D1, the first raid came out, it had its own individual armor set, its own individual weapon loot pool, and then the second raid came out, which is the equivalent of a raid layer now, which was called Crota's End, brought its own individual armor set and its own individual weapon set, as opposed to spreading things out as they did. Yeah, how they did now, and it just loses the appeal, because it's like when Leviathan came out, it's like, oh, there's no shotgun to this. Like, where's the fusion rifle?
No, it's over here.
Yeah,
It's in this other spot.
Didn't they lock some of the weaponry behind hard mode and normal mode for Crota?
Yes, in
Like,
D1 they
like,
did lock certain weapons behind hard mode.
I think it was like shotgun, maybe, I forget. But I thought, was that a trend all the way through? It wasn't for Vault of Glass, but
It wasn't for Vault. Was Black Hammer?
I think that was a normal
Yeah.
mode drop. I believe Black Hammer was a normal mode drop, and then like Word of Crota was a hard mode drop.
I feel like more
Yeah.
people did normal mode than hard mode just because they felt like anyway. Getting back to
This
this
Black Hammer
sorry, I
is
mean
the
to
best
interrupt.
weapon.
Remember when helmets were tied to the hard mode raids?
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
Forever 29.
Forever 29. Yeah, in the first couple of raids, you couldn't get the helmet from the set unless you beat the hard mode raid.
I mean,
But at least
that's
you knew where you
gotta
could
be
get
a
it.
bitch. You're sitting there with like the rest of the armor
Yeah.
set, and you're sitting here like, what fucking junky ass head am I slapping on this to make this look halfway decent?
Yeah.
And you're like, oh, I gotta do hard mode? All right, let's kill some stuff.
Yeah. It's just crazy how much of a departure we've taken in terms of raid loot. I mean, again, the only thing I'm just chasing after is just the 1,000 voices. Other than that,
Right.
that's it. Last wish.
Things
Yep.
definitely haven't gotten back to that level of desire and allure that certainly the raids in D1 had for their gear. There's still nothing weapon-wise in D2 that matches up to the allure of, say, the Vault of Glass weapons, you know?
Yeah.
Where almost
Yeah.
every single one of those things, outside of maybe Atheon's Epilogue, was something everyone was going after. When it comes to, I think things have gotten better. I think Last Wish and its raid rewards are better than the Leviathan and most of the stuff we got in that, outside of maybe like Midnight Coup, and I guess you could consider the Legend of Acarius a raid weapon. It requires raid stuff
Yeah.
to get.
Kind of.
It's kind of a raid weapon. You got to complete the raid
Yeah.
to get it. So
It's like halfway there while
But,
living on a prayer.
I did want to say that it's not to say that I dislike a lot of the raid gear and what they've done with it. I think they've done some interesting stuff with the raid gear in Last Wish. I love that we have random rolls for raid gear and those curated rolls that can drop for like Nation of Beasts, which is basically a D2 version of Fatebringer. I love that.
Don't do this to me. Don't do it to me, because everybody in my group has Nation of Beasts,
Yep.
and none of them like hand cannons. And I'm like, I'm the only one.
Yeah, I know how that feels. I definitely know how
I'm
that
just
feels.
crossing my fingers. We'll get the raid done the next time around. I'll get a nice curated roll and calm down.
Yeah.
Yeah, but like when you guys say that you don't feel like there's too many things to go for in Last Wish, I 100% agree. I can think of the only two things I think I want from that raid are Nation of Beasts and the 1,000 Voices. I don't care about any of the rest of it. None of the rest of it matters.
Everything else, I'm like, this can go in the bank.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was like,
Or infusion, immediately infuse because it's high light. And when it comes to armor, Nim, you and I have sung this tune for a long time when it comes to Destiny 2. The raid armor and especially the ornaments in D2 are nowhere near the kind of quality we got in year 3 of D1, the Age of Triumph stuff. It's almost unfathomable that we could go from what we had, and Rob, you should look up the armor ornaments for
I'm
raids.
looking it up right now. I'm going to
definitely show them because you'll want to slap some people when you see what you could do with armor and whatnot in D1 versus the ornaments we have in D2.
because I would get it if just your normal pieces were like maybe just your average pieces that dropped are just the pieces that you have now. But if you got ornaments for each of those pieces as well,
And that's how that's how they ended
That's how they
in
did it.
Destiny 1.
yeah.
You had to have the
That would be dope.
complete armor set to even like there was ornaments, then there was the final form, right? Where you basically became Hive or you basically became Siva.
Vex.
Yeah,
That's
that
cool
was
stuff, man. You could become
The
a
Siva,
Vex.
the Siva one was just so cool, like with the blown out shoulders.
Right, with the
and
Siva
shit.
going all around you. It was great. It was cool. It was cool
I'm
stuff.
dropping the link in chat so you can kind of see one of the
I actually
one
want to
of
look at that
each.
again.
And
Yeah.
that's certainly something that we've been missing here in Destiny 2. And even right now, I don't even think the Last Wish gear doesn't even have ornaments, does it?
No.
And it's like,
I mean, it looks nice,
It's cool
but it
looking.
doesn't look like.
yeah.
It looks better than some of the other armors out there, but I wouldn't say that it's like that level of mind blowing. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's not anything like super duper special. But,
Mhm.
Well,
I do miss
What
that.
is the I'm sorry. Is the Reverie? Is that what you get out of the raid
Dawn.
and the dungeon as well?
I think
Reverie
Reverie
is what
Dawn
you get
is-
from Dreaming
That's-
City.
Yeah, Dreaming
Dreaming
City.
City.
I was gonna say is what you get out of the dungeon perhaps what we're looking for in terms of end game armor? Are we looking at the wrong encounter?
It's no,
Essentially.
it's still the same thing.
Oh,
Yeah,
no
the
problem.
Reverie Dawn set drops from the dungeon as well.
Yeah,
No.
that's considered Dreaming City loophole.
Yeah,
So yeah, they could definitely
There
do
goes
some
that
work
idea.
yeah. I honestly, I initially thought that the Reverie Dawn set was a blind well.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it was a
yeah.
blind well thing.
Yeah, that's what I thought it was, but yeah.
Oh my god, and they trolled me so hard on that one. I got every single piece except for the arms repeatedly. And you would, because you would open up the chest and then you'd see what other people would get.
Yeah.
And I would see everybody getting those damn arms. And I was like, I just want to look like an ascendant. Give me a break. Oh
Trust me.
shoot, these armors are insane.
Yeah, dude.
Those were
Yeah.
effects that you could turn on and off once you got like the full armor set.
Wait, you could even turn them on
Mhm.
and
Turn
off?
them on and off.
So
So-
here's another cool thing though.
They
So
changed
on that
the
middle
damage
set,
too, right?
yeah, on the
Ah.
middle set, if you took damage, the spikes on the arms
Right.
would go down.
Mhm.
Shut
Yeah, they were
up.
animated. Yeah,
Yeah.
If you got hurt with the middle set that has like the green energy flowing out of it, the green energy would disappear and like little bits and pieces of that armor would kind of like jitter around. Then when you
Mhm.
started healing again, it would come like right back up.
Oh, it's like it's like
One
a
of them
lot.
used to
It's like
crack, too.
twitching.
Was it
Yeah.
the vaulted
Crotas-
glass armor that would crack?
No,
Wait,
that
is it?
King's
I think they
Fall.
all had some form of animation to them as you took
Yeah.
them. I could have sworn.
Is it me or did the hunters kind of get a little screwed over here? Because I'm looking.
We've
at
been
my
hearing
other
it since the beginning of
comrades.
D1. We've been hearing
When
it
they,
from.
when they nerfed
beginning.
Blade Dancer when nobody was talking about Blade Dancer.
Yep.
It's like,
Yep.
wait a second, why are you hurting us?
Yeah.
Even now, I hear to this day that I always hear hunters are the most unloved class in
It's-
Destiny. Is it?
It's a tough line to walk, man. It's a tough line to walk. You have to be in a certain mindset. You have to understand that, like,
Gotta be a strong player.
you know, sure, warlocks are pretty and stuff, but you can stab things a lot better.
That's actually the one reason that I have stuck with Hunter, because legitimately I just want to stab things. I'm like,
Yeah.
no, it's fine. I was like, when I was in chat and we're trying to decide what the new what subclass to go for in Forsaken. They're like, you could be all stealthy, because in Warframe I play a lot of Loki. That's like the kind of like the
Right,
main
yeah.
I'm known for. So it's like, oh, you get to be invisible and be all trickstery and stuff like that. I was like, okay. I was like, but this is a different game, and I really just want to stab things. They're like, there's one where you throw out knives,
Yeah.
and then you can roll and you get more knives, and if shit's on fire, those knives come back faster, or the dodge comes back faster. And I was like, so I could just throw all the knives, and there's a
Forever.
chest piece that you can have 2 knives. I'm like, the knives, and you can throw a whole barrage of knives.
Yeah.
And
Rob,
from
I
that
think
point
we
on-
just became best friends.
Yes, I love it. It makes me happy. It's like it's one of those things where after a stressful day, there's a great, I don't know if it got clipped or something, but it was we did a nightfall mission and we were struggling with this one boss, and I was on stream, and it was at the very, very end. We got him down to the final last bit, and I just wanted to throw a fan of knives at him. So I'm jumping up to try to get some distance, but you just see me go, boo, and I'm like, no! And then you see me go, boo, and I'm like, no, back up
That's
more!
annoying.
And I'm like, boo, and like, finally, and I know it wasn't me, it was probably the rest of my team carrying me, but you just see me just go, boo, 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 over and over, and then finally he dies. I'm like, thank God I was nearly dead! But it was that great moment of like, you just keep stabbing him over and over and over again, and you're like, oh my God, I didn't die, hallelujah.
Trying to get the melee to proc, yeah.
Yeah, I just want to stab him and then roll away, or throw knives and then roll away.
Oh, it's great.
Yeah, it was.
The joys of being
And
a hunter.
love it. I love it, even
That's
though
great.
we don't get the fancy cool stuff.
Hey Dan,
Yeah.
when you making that second character?
When hell freezes over because Jenny will leave me. said it so many times, and I actually asked her, "Hey, Jenny, would you leave me? You would? She will leave me."
Wait, so you only have one character, right? You only main.
So on PC, I have a hunter. I have 3 characters on PlayStation and Xbox, but the Xbox I haven't really played all that often. But on PS4, I have all 3 characters, but I focus all on hunter.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
Wait, so what is
always-
everybody's? What is everybody's main?
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter, Rob. It's fine. You don't want to hear about the warlocks. It's fine.
Yeah.
A lot of
TBL and I-
warlocks here.
warlocks.
Although I play all 3 classes, so you know.
You got Aura as a Titan up here.
It depends. If I'm PvE, I'm probably good on a Titan, but if it's PvP, I'm a hunter all day, every day.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I warlock through and
Warlocks.
Yeah.
through. Yeah.
Yeah.
How's it feel to not be able to jump?
I don't know. How does it feel to not be able to generate orbs, or kill things, or
Listen,
be
my
good at
tether will
absolutely anything in the
generate plenty
game,
of orbs,
or heal
okay?
friends, or damage enemies?
Heal friends.
keep
I don't need
everybody
friends. I'm
alive.
a hunter.
That's
I
right.
don't need friends. I'm a hunter.
What
I get to
friends.
skip, damn it.
Show me that
fun.
twirl, and I will show you my blink.
Right. Ooh, ooh.
I
know I had
just
to
got
do
sad.
it
I
to
just
him.
got
Only
sad.
jumped at Warlock sad.
Bye, Dan.
Where'd he go?
Oh my god.
He's having a
Someone call him a
moment.
Titan? One of you guys called him a Titan, didn't you?
I reminded him that we took our blink back.
It's
Oh,
really
man.
weird that hunters didn't get Blink in Destiny.
That is
2.
weird that they don't have it back.
It's super strange. I
Wait,
figured
did
they
hunters have Blink before?
In Team
Yeah.
1,
Oh,
they
yeah.
had Blink.
in Team
Oh,
had
yeah.
Blink. Blink was
They could
tied
teleport.
to their arc class. and-
Our class did.
yeah.
Blink, blade dance with shotgun.
Oh yeah,
Ooh.
still
talking
talking
about
Blink, Blade Dance, Shoddy, game over. 6 months worth of that, and only that.
It was beautiful.
And that's why they can never have it ever again. This is why you can't have nice things.
Yeah.
That's why we can't have nice things.
What did we
So
get in
sad.
place of that?
Trash.
Nothing.
Nothing. We got
Nothing.
nothing.
Nerfed
got our
you
original
bolt
jumps,
and
right?
a pitiful blade dance forever. That's what you got. Sad times.
We got hoods though. We got hoods. It keeps us warm in the winter.
That's true. From fly hoods. All right, so finally time for
Winter's
questions.
coming.
There's even a scarf, right? There's even a scarf for hunters out there.
There was like, is that a blue though? The scarf?
I don't.
Thoughts?
I don't
No,
remember.
they boosted it. Like, remember they started giving like tiny scarves in legendary format
Yeah, like the little handkerchief.
toward the end,
Yeah.
in case you wanted to wipe your nose after you sneezed.
Right. I miss my cloak of Tanics though. I miss looking fly. Just
Yep.
Shattered
Oh, man, that
Vault
would be
Cloak
so
for
cool
me.
to get that back, especially with the lore implications now.
yeah. Right. That would be cool.
Yeah. But all right.
Question time, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Well, right on.
Let's see here. We only have a couple. Ask Rob about his feelings about Whisper and me carrying him through it.
I have no shame.
Zeph's Keel.
I have no shame in my game, Zaph. I don't even care. Here's the thing. I did Whisper on stream, fully knowing, like I'd watched a quick video on it, and it wasn't a video to learn it. It was a video to see how bad it was gonna be.
Yeah.
So basically, I was like, okay, how fucked am I? Okay, cool. I'm very fucked. So what I've decided was like, I'm like, all right, I'll go ahead and do it on stream and let people watch me suffer through it. I'm like, go for it. I will feel the pain. I will do my best. I will try my hardest to get it done. And then, I'll have somebody else carry me through it the next time. Listen, my suffering brings people joy, and I'm okay with that. I'm okay to suffer. But listen, the Whisper, I made it all the way to the end the time that I got carried. But, I wouldn't have had the damage myself to do it. So I dedicated myself to getting through to the very end. And as one of the worst platformy people out there, I cried a couple times. I did inside. They didn't see it, but it was there. And you know what? I made it to the very end. So that's all that matters. I could have just stood there on that stupid platform that comes down and like crushes you as you try to get into the tiny little hole after getting booped from the stupid sides. Listen, I could have just sat there and let them finish it, but no, I came through till the very end, Zaf. You know I did. So
Yeah.
I'm so proud.
Did
I'm
you
still
jump
a
up
failure.
in the green room, or did you go down into the little cave?
I went into the...
Little slidey hole.
Let's talk about the first time I went into the cave. I could not figure out where the hell anything was because the people that I were with, they're like, all right, well, we're just going to just go ahead. You can figure it out. We're not going to have enough
You
time
can
for you to do
figure
it.
it out.
So I'm just like, okay. I'm like, this hole, why is it dark? Why are there so many things running at me? I was like, no, that's not the hole. I was like, well, you know, hasn't been the first time I've had issues finding holes. We're okay. And then so we get into the other room with all the big holes on the sides, and I was like, oh my god, it's just hole after hole after hole. I can't do this. But like I said, I learned. We made it through till the very end, so I was proud,
That's
very
awesome.
happy. So Zap, you can kiss my ass. That's
There you go. You got your whisper. That's
I
all that
did.
matters.
We gotta go do it again for the catalyst.
And you gotta beat it on the 3 different.
You've gotta do
Yeah.
Three
elements,
times
so
after
you
you
get
get the
the
catalyst.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
isn't that like 5? Isn't there like you gotta get it? You gotta get the catalyst, and you gotta go 4 more times. Am I crazy, or is it 3 more
You
times?
get 3 more times.
At least 3
Yeah.
on 3 separate weeks.
Yeah.
Yeah. Individual.
But we saw the damage output on that thing on Mr. Swolgroth, and I was like, "Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, I guess we're gonna have to do."
Yeah.
Damage.
Do you have the Aikilo's shotgun yet?
You know, it was really, it's one of those ones. It's another friend moment. My friend tends to go to movies and not tell me about it, and I am bittered forever, and I will never watch those movies ever again. So what ends up happening is he called me one night. I was like, all right, let's go do some farming. Let's go do some farming for the Akelo shotgun because he cares about meta stuff like that.
Right.
Yeah.
And then so I call him up. I'm like, all right, let's get started. You know, I had to do some work. I had to get some work done. And then he was like, oh, I already got it. And I was like, guess I'm never getting that one, am I? Never gonna get that one. So you can go yourself.
Trust me. Next time when you get the when that's going around, you're gonna want to
Yeah.
get it because that thing is
Yep.
even better than the whisper for Swolgaroth.
Yeah.
It's nuts.
I keep it for Gambit all the time. That's
Oh,
the
yeah.
second. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's-
I think it's just
That
always, even
French
though
barrel's
I'm not
too good.
necessarily the kind of person that will always chase the meta, I always feel like it's good to know, it's good to have it just
Yeah.
in case you
Mhm.
need it. And number 2,
Absolutely.
it's also good to kind of like understand why the meta is the way that it is and why it works the way that
Yeah.
it works.
Yeah.
Ridiculous damage.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's really good.
Sharky924. Do you think Bungie will give Strike exclusives items again? Not just Nightfalls.
I hope so.
Were we supposed to get that with like?
I remember
we
them
were also-
saying something about that before Forsaken came out. Yeah.
Yeah.
You're also
Okay,
supposed
so-
to be able to load in a Dreaming City with 6 people.
Also
Do you
true.
remember that?
They
Also
also
true.
mentioned that. Not a thing right now.
Also true.
One can only hope. One can
Yeah.
only
Someday.
hope.
I can't
Someday.
imagine why they wouldn't.
Yeah.
Honestly,
Yeah.
They need to be like good though, because the Nightfall stuff.
Mhm.
I personally am not too impressed with them.
Yeah.
Like the
It's
Silicon
almost for
Realm,
collections for people who want 100%.
Yeah.
Something to chase.
Yeah.
It
There's-
needs some cosmetic too.
Well, there's sparrows,
Yeah.
right? There's sparrows that are specific to.
Arrows.
Yep.
There's Ghost. There's a ship. But I mean,
A spawn-in effect, because that's worthwhile.
I like my
Oh.
3 little spotlights, man. I'm cool with that.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah, that was. You
Yikes.
know me. Yeah, you know me, TBL. That was
That's going to be
that
a yikes
was
for
that
me,
was
Chief.
that was maddening. But yeah, I think that wraps it up for this week.
Yeah, I think so.
All right, before we go, I just wanted to say, Rob, huge thank you for coming out
Aw.
and hanging out with us.
Well, I hope I didn't irritate you guys too much.
No,
No, you were
fantastic
great.
guest. Like,
My
just
job.
story
Thank
after
you.
story. This was wonderful. I loved it.
Oh, I'm glad.
Well, tell us what you do and where we can find you.
So at the moment, I pretty much cover Warframe on YouTube. So youtube.com/AGayGuyPlays. We're going through a kind of, I won't say guide, but like more like a history moment where we're going back to see the greatest moments of Warframe, and kind of covering that piece by piece. But besides that, I also do weapon reviews, builds, and I think the thing that I'm most known for is fashion frame. When you guys talk about, all of your ornaments and stuff like that and getting those shaders from the, I'm like, they're with you. And then of course on Twitch, I do a little bit of Warframe. I've been branching out and playing some Destiny. So if you guys want to see me suffer, you can come through. Also at AGayGuyPlays, I've got a second channel, which is Lifestyle, which is Rob Offline on YouTube. And then Twitter, Instagram, all AGayGuyPlays.
Beautiful. Yeah, and again, you are literally the person that I go to whenever I fall off Warframe and fall off the news and what's happening. Like literally, you're my go-to guy to like, catch up with Warframe stuff. So
yeah, I also do like a little thing on the channel, which I think is handy. It's called Rob Reads You Shit That You Probably Don't Want to Read Yourself. So when it comes down to patch notes, when it comes down to like anything that's like long form, like dev workshops or stuff like that, because I think it's handy for people who just want to play the game and don't necessarily want to read a wall of text. Because for me, the number one way for me to not read your message on Discord or through Twitter is if it's more than 3 sentences long. I'm like, make your point in 3 sentences and then move along. So I figured that, if there are people out there that are like me, they'll see a wall of text and they'll just be like, nope, not reading that. So I figured that I would go ahead and get that read for some people. They can toss me in the background. They can start playing their games. So that's what I like to do for Warframe too.
That's awesome. And yeah, again, everything you do, like the fashion frame stuff is just fucking great. Like I love going in there and seeing all your different,
Oh, Destiny 2 shaders make me mad. I'm gonna be honest with you. I wanted to do a video specifically just going through each shader, and I'm like, number one, I don't understand the color mapping on some of these armors. I don't understand why this. It's like beautiful metallic, nice off-white, nice gray. Why is there a neon green in this? Do we need that neon green? No, we didn't need the neon green. That's just an insult. It's kind of like we could have made it pretty, but we spat on it instead.
Yeah.
So.
Oh no, trust me. There's a lot of shaders that I'm like, oh, I bet this looks really cool.
Why did you decide that color went there instead of there? Yeah, it's one of those. It's really funny, and sometimes you get a really pretty shader where you're like, it's pretty on this, it's pretty on that, it's pretty on this, and then you put it on your spare. Why is it that texture? Where did that texture come from? It was so nice on everything else, but yeah,
absolutely,
it hurts my soul.
Yeah. All right, Aura, where are you at?
You can find me at twitch.tv/Aura Monday through Friday, 3 to 6 p.m. Eastern Time, and weekend mornings. Twitter.com/EvilAura, 3VIL_AURA.
Beautiful. My favorite one. Dan, go.
You can find me on twitch.tv/Danfinity. You just spell that normally, how you normally spell Danfinity. But if you want to follow me on Twitter, it's at Danfinity, but the I's are L's. Thank you, everyone, for the laughs. You can find me on Instagram at DanFinitWitch. Also really confusing for branding purposes. You can also find my other podcast outside of Planet Destiny Side Quest Sunday. This week we have Brick and Nick. It's one of my favorite conversations that we've had on the show. Nice. No offense, everyone else who's been a guest.
Highly offended.
That's been a host on the show.
I quit.
Also, I love you all. And next week we have Polar Bear. So
nice.
Yeah.
TBL.
Oh, hi, what's up? My name is The Black Link. You can find me pretty much everywhere on the internet. Twitch, Twitter, YouTube, all those places at The Black Link. We do the live streams, all that kind of stuff, Monday through Friday, starting at 11 a.m. Eastern Time. And you can find me right here on the Planet Destiny channel doing guides, videos, patch notes. Basically every bit of news that comes out for this stinking game that we all play way too much.
Way too much of.
All right, Nim, back to you, man.
All right, same thing. Nem plays pretty much everywhere. Mainly active on Twitter and Twitch, and of course, you'll find the occasional review over on the Planet Destiny YouTube channel as well. I am working currently on a Queen Breaker video, so get ready for that. Woo! But yeah,
Don't
that
get
was
it.
that was a good episode. Episode 173. And TBL, you want to close this out here?
I knew I couldn't get through the entire show without
Nope.
doing at least the intro or the outro.
You're literally the guy for it.
You know what, everybody? I think Nim did a wonderful job of hosting tonight's episode. I kind of just dropped that on him before we started tonight. You did a great job, Nim. Wonderful job. And you could not have had a more perfect guest to have here. You have been
excellent.
Thank you.
Great job. You've been fantastic. I think it's really important that we had this bridge between kind of like the Warframe community and the Destiny community. We talked a bit about that in the beginning of the show. I love both those games. I've been playing both those games for a long time. And I think our two communities have a lot more in common than we might realize.
Oh, I feel it. Yeah.
Especially when it comes to fashion, because glamour is the true end game, no matter what game it is.
I thought friends were.
No,
fuck friends.
D's lied. It's glamour. It's all about how you look.
Especially if your friends don't dress nice, get them out of here.
Get him out of here. That's not a friend. That's a burden. Remember that. That'll take you far in gaming life. But all right, ladies and gentlemen, that is it for episode 173 of the Planet Destiny podcast. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. We'll catch you all next week. Bye, everybody. See you guys.